It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
There's no headache, man. Good to see you.
Thanks, man.
He's just excited Baker Mayfield got paid.
I told you would.
$400 million, man. Just under $33 million, but just over $33 million a year, probably 33.3 some change. The boy got paid in here. You talked about it yesterday. You talking about a guy where after everything was going on in Cleveland, he just really had to have a moment where he looked himself in the mirror and said, "Look, man, you know what? I got to why did I fall in love with football? You know what I'm saying? I'm not this guy." I'm not as tall as I think I am. I'm not as fast as I think I am. I'm not this. I got to go out and prove it again. And that Rams game, man, as you called it out, it was the Rams game. We played in the season, Monday Night Football. Won that game, gave him some confidence, and then Todd Bowles kind of brings him in to do what he does. And what did he say? Just be Baker Mayfield, and that got him paid. So congrats to Baker. A lot of people getting paid. A lot of movement, man. 25 hours of free agency, and we are moving. The Lions have even made some moves. We'll get you caught up on that. First, we say hello to my boy Mike. Mike's in the building in the audio booth. And so is Pete Spivak wearing the big cap hat over there. Big P Spivak.
Is that today? Do I get to play cap or no cap with you guys?
Why not?
We can make up something.
All right.
We can make up something, but there's so much going on around the NFL, especially as it relates to our own division. But we start with the Detroit Lions, who have signed Marcus Davenport to a one-year deal, and they also have traded for cornerback Carlton Davis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They give up a third-round pick. So they pick up one guy, 9 sacks in 2021, injured guy, shocking, Brad Holmes, I know. And then Carlton Davis is another guy who hasn't played more than 13 or 14 games in the last 3 years, but all the wide receivers that play against him, and we actually saw this when he was down in Ford Field. He is a damn good defensive back. I actually am excited about that move. And we always say, Brad Holmes, we trust. It looks like we got some good moves. Tom, I'll start with you. How do you like these moves for the Detroit Lions? Oh, by the way, John Kaminsky takes a little bit less so that he can stay a part of this Detroit Lions franchise, which he has actually been a catalyst the last 2 years.
Last year he took a step back, but these two new players that they have, they're not big splashes. Carlton Davis, I think, is a very good acquisition. They wind up giving up pick 92 for him. I think they got that in the Hockenson deal. Am I correct, man?
They got pick 73 in the Hockenson deal, so they gave away their
regular one.
The regular worst pick or farther down in the draft.
All right, so either way, Hockenson for Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
I'll take it since you have Sam Laporta here. So I'll take that. That's an upgrade to where we were. If Emmanuel Mosley can play and they expect him to play, we talk to Dr. Pierce every week. He says both ACLs are injured. They're probably stronger than they were before they were injured. So maybe Emmanuel Mosley will be set to play a full campaign this year. So they went on the cheap. Let's face it. That's what they do. They don't go out. They don't spend a lot of money. It's not their MO. I know it's not over yet, but I think it's over. As far as defensive backs go, I don't see L'Jarius Sneed coming here. They already traded their third-round pick. I don't think they trade a second-round pick, or God forbid, they'll never trade their first-round pick, right? Pick number 29. But, Matt, they signed somebody else maybe 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, Amik Robertson, a veteran, a young-ish veteran who played with the Raiders the last several years. I believe he started 21 games.
Corner?
What was that?
Another corner.
Corner, yeah. And it's depth. He's not going to be your cornerback number one on this team. He's, 5'9", about 183 pounds.
Slot guy, corner 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, again, I got to do a little more research into him. I'm not gonna lie and pretend I know everything about Amik Robertson, but I know they needed depth in this room. They needed more bodies, and it's an improvement. But you're right, they're not done.
Maybe in free agency at the defensive back position, but they're going to be adding another cornerback at some point.
Fellas, indulge me. Let me just get this out the way. I think for Detroit Lions fans, I think they're in the space of, well, say we, because I am a Detroit Lions fan now. I started 3 years ago, so I'm still new. But I've been supporting this team hard, even when they were 3-13-1. I believed in them because of Tom Mazaway and Ryan Ermanni and people like Matt Broder. They're not going to do what you think they want to do, what you want them to do.
Yes.
They're not going after L'Jarius Sneed.
Nope.
They're not going after Chris Joneses of the world. They're not going after the Christian Wilkinsons of the world. They're not going after these people. You know why? They're going to keep doing what they've done. They've built it their way. And I can say I didn't necessarily agree with it at first, but when you see something work, you have to take a step back and you have to allow it to continue to cook. 3 years ago, they said it'd be a 3-year plan, 3-13-1. That turns into 9-8, and that turns into NFC Championship game at 12-5. Seems like it's working. They're going after players that maybe they take a pay cut, or players that, have an injury, so they can't get the full asking price or what they maybe could have gotten. That's the players that they're deciding to go after. You know why they're doing that, Maz? You know the big splashes that the Detroit Lions are going to be making? Those splashes sound like this. Amon-Ra St. Brown will be a major splash, maybe to the tune of 4 years, 110. Penei Sewell will be a major splash for the Detroit Lions when that contract. But I'm just saying, that's what they're waiting for. Everybody wants to see the big splash free agents from another team. They're telling you, we love the guys that we draft. We love making them homegrown. Penei Sewell will be a big splash. Aiden Hutchinson will be a major splash when he comes up. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we talked about it, and then Jared Goff, if they choose to extend him. Man, am I off the mark with that? I think they're adding depth.
Taylor Decker's
they're
going to
being
be
very
up.
smart with that. But they're going to pay their guys, the guys that they drafted to Honolulu Blue and Silver.
Without a doubt, Brad Holmes and this entire regime,
Yeah.
they are going to give money, big money, the real money, the extensions to the guys they know everything about. And that's the guys who they have drafted and developed. And I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but let's think about it. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, they know everything about those guys. They drafted them, developed them, know what they're like in the locker room, know what they're like on the field, and they've turned into fantastic players. And that's probably underselling them. So they know what they're going to get. Those are the guys that they're definitely going to pay. The only way they're going to pay someone big money in free agency is if they're absolutely sure they know everything about the person plus the game. Marcus Davenport, we talked about. They know everything about the person. He's just injury prone. But they know if he's healthy, maybe, that he's gonna provide a spark opposite
It's
Aiden
1
Hutchinson.
year.
What was that?
It's a 1-year deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So show me.
Yeah. And that's what I think they're going to do in the cornerback market, or with their cornerback, in search of their cornerback number one. They sign these guys to this 1-year deal. They want to draft a quarterback in the draft. They wanted to draft Devon Witherspoon and have guys come in on 1-2 year deals to coach up who is hopefully their quarterback one that they find in a draft, maybe on a 5-year contract. So that's what Carlton Davis has brought in. And also, he's playing for a contract versus L'Jarius Sneed. You're paying for what he did in Kansas City.
And before you go, man, I know you have something to say. Also, they dodged the bullet with the Jonah Jackson deal. Like, at first, you can just hear me out. I know when Jonah Jackson's in there, he increases the yards by 1, which is a major increase when you're talking about 1 extra whole yard. That gets you faster to first down. I know that. But he's making $17 million a year. I think doing it this way, you get $14 million for Carlton Davis trying to figure it out. You bring in some other guys. They added more depth at the defensive back position, and they added more players. Meanwhile, Jonah Jackson's another guy that's an injury-prone guy. They know that much about him, and the fact that they didn't necessarily want to pull the trigger on that, I think that speaks volumes. So I got to give him some wiggle room on that Tom Mazaway.
No question. You hit it on the head. But like Sue Yu says in the chat, it's dollar store homes. It is what it is. He's not going out and spending money, guys. As much as we all want him to go out and who's the defensive end now for the Vikings? We ain't getting him. It would be nice if we did, but it don't sound like we're going to go out and spend some money. L'Jarius Sneed, that dream's over. Like you said, Matt, you hit it on the head. They're not going to pay a guy for what he did already. They're going to give Carlton Davis a chance to earn that $15 to $20 million a year going forward after what he puts in here in Detroit. Both of those players that come over, they're coming to a winning team, a team on the rise, so they got to be excited too. Anyone that comes to play for Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and the rest of this crew here in Detroit, they're getting a bonus, man. They are getting player coaches. You can't say that for every single team. This is the place to come right now. And you know what? How many picks do they have in the top 90? 4 of them? 4 picks. Now they gave 1 up, so they got 3
They got
picks in the
3.
top 90. Let's see what they do with those 3 picks.
And in that Carlton Davis trade, they got 2 6th-round picks, one
Right.
this year and next year.
Right.
Yeah.
All ammo for Brad Holmes to either draft in the 6th round, you got James Houston in the 6th, or use them to move up in the 1st round.
100%. You're talking about a guy that we believe in his loaded gun. Pause. You know that's what he does in his draft. The draft is his area of expertise. So you give him a 6th-round pick, he's going to turn into gold. Maz, I see you sporting the Cincinnati Bengals quarter zip jacket. NFL. I know you love.
For no reason.
I know, but I got a reason to bring that up. There's a guy that plays for them, wide receiver Jamar Chase, one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
He talked a little bit about the guy that we just brought in. Why don't you give a little listen?
Who's the best defensive back? You know, I'm a former DB. Who's the best DB you've played against?
For me, I'll say Carlton Davis. Only reason why I say Carlton Davis because he was longer than I expected. You know what I'm saying? Longer arms, and he ain't got no knee bend. He just hunched his back over and just played defense. You know what I'm saying? So I think I played him twice too. So you know he made some good plays on me. So I ain't gonna never forget that one.
Broder, what do you think about
That's
that, man?
pretty cool.
He said exactly what I wanted to see out of whatever cornerback they went out and signed in free agency or in the draft. He's got long arms. He can play with a Jamar Chase, a number one wide receiver on any team in the NFL, as long as he's not on a team with Tyreek Hill. That's exactly what I want to see. Carlton Davis, 6'1", about 205. Actually, might even be closer to 6'2".
Yeah.
We needed a big receiver on the outside, one who's comfortable playing press man coverage, so Aaron Glenn can get back to the scheme he wants to run, playing a lot of man and letting the guys roam.
Yeah, 100%. You saw last year to the tune of the last 5 games of the season for the Detroit Lions at the cornerback position. Guys just ran roughshod over us, whether it was Mike Evans, whether it was Justin Jefferson, whether it was Puka Nacua. My God, Puka Nacua, 180 in that game against the Lions at Ford Field. But, yeah, you got a guy with long arms. But you know what I like? It's a player. Like you said, it's an elite player in Jamar Chase talking about what he meant. You know what it reminds me of? When I was in playing for the Browns, Maz, played Chess Ocho Cinco. Speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, played Ocho Cinco twice a year. Got a chance to see him up close in person. You know, a DB that he couldn't stand to play against, had long arms, and eventually Detroit Lions signed him. It was Lee Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Biden played with the Browns. He used to give Chad Ochocinco the fits, and because of it, he got paid. He got paid here, and he actually got paid with the Patriots as well. I think he had 9 interceptions 1 year for the Patriots.
That's pretty
But when
cool.
you hear people around the league, especially elite players like Jamar Chase talk about, that's when you got to get excited. That's when you should get excited. I love that.
Bray, I got to ask you.
Let's go.
Who's that guy? Who was that guy for you? Like, I know you played against Revis in practice
Yeah.
every day, so I'm going to cross him off the list.
Okay,
But
smart.
another cornerback that just gave you fits.
Champ
Or-
Bailey's the best DB I ever played against. Like, Champ Bailey was the best. I wish I would have got to play Bubba Chuck, a.k.a. my boy C. Wood. Was my favorite player of all time. But when he was in Oakland, I still was in college. Then he got injured. Then when he got to
Champ?
Green, no, I'm talking about Wood, but I'm going to get to Champ.
Got you.
But like Wood was my favorite, but he was injured. So I never got to see him in his full prime, if you will. But Champ, you're talking about a guy long arms. Talking about a guy 6'1". You're talking about a guy 4'3". His brother went here and ran 4'3". Boss Bailey.
Yeah, we don't need Champ. We had Boss.
Funny, man.
I thought that was a good pick at the time.
Specimen, Champ was, but also so many players, they get caught up in having so much gifted natural athleticism and athletic ability that they don't put forth the effort in terms of the film room. They don't study. They don't do the homework. Champ Bailey was finishing routes for me. He was telling me where the play was going. Like, playing against Champ was just nerve-wracking. Marcus Trufant, early on, was another one of those type players. Marcus Trufant and Champ Bailey probably gave me the most fits.
So Champ Bailey, cerebral, and you're a big receiver.
He's got long arms,
Long
too.
arms. That's huge,
And
especially going up against Justin Jefferson twice
Yeah.
a year. The CeeDee Lambs, A.J. Browns of the world. Dude, there's Carlton Davis. There are some question marks or injury concerns, but the upside is incredible.
I think it is the upside, and the upside is the same for Marcus Davenport. You got him on a 1-year deal. That's what Brad Holmes is the key of right now. It's these 1-year deals. He's cycling guys in, cycling guys out, not necessarily getting stuck to guys. I know we want him to make a bigger move and, you know, like you said, spend more money. But, Tom, I come to you. The Lions regimes have done that in the past. They've thrown big money at players. They've bought players in. They've given them the money. They've gone after
Didn't
some of the
work out.
players that fans want. Hey, bring this guy in. Hey, what about this guy? Hey, make this splash. They've made those splashes and it hasn't paid off for them. Meanwhile, they've done it their way, and now they're the Division North champions, at least the reigning champions right now.
I know. They're not going to throw money around. That this regime is going to do it their way. And I don't know. that number 3 pick that they gave up to get
Carlton Davis.
Davis here, if they didn't believe in Carlton Davis, they're not giving up that high of a pick.
No way.
So to me, I believe that they got a steal, and I'll say that because they don't give draft picks away. They don't give the 92nd or 93rd pick away without knowing that this guy can help. So I am all in on that trade.
P. Spivak, don't make me regret this.
No.
You say you got breaking news?
Yeah,
Return to P.
I do. I just want to keep you guys, up to date since it's so
appreciate
busy
that,
right now.
Pete.
Same for the chat and all the listeners. The Steelers, they have locked up now former Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen.
Wow.
3-year, $41 million deal to go to the Steelers. So
I
I
always
just want
liked
to throw
that
that
guy.
out. A solid linebacker going to a good solid defense.
Anybody coming out of the Ravens organization is a guy that I'm okay with. A guy
And he
that
goes
I
to
want
an
on my
enemy
team.
in
And
the
he's
division.
He's going to the that seems to be happening a lot.
Yeah.
Maz, it's somebody.
You're not kidding.
That's something I wanted to bring up. Hey, look, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back to this NFL agency frenzy because it's a lot moving, including our own division. Pete, where we going?
We're going to go to Wake Up Woodward, and the guy sitting right to your left there, that would be Broder. He is part of the new Wake Up Woodward, a new morning show right here. You can start your day with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m., live right here on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, and Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all Detroit sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction. All right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Jack Labrador. If you're teaching your kids rock, paper, scissors, well, you got to teach them the right way. Jack Labrador, 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play to go along with rock, paper, scissors. $20 for this deck. It's the Champions deck. Comes with a deck of cards, a chip, and 3 extra games. Motor City Showdown, Spell My Name, and Pink Slip, all in one box. 2 players and up, ages 8 and above. JackLabrador.gg. Click that QR code. It'll tell you exactly how to play the game. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Ryan, and Ermanni. We will see you later. Wishing you good health time. Mazway, good to have you back. Matt Broder, always a pleasure. Jumping into this division, heated up yesterday, and I think this is the reason why fans, understandably so, I've chosen to take in the path that, hey, Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. The Lions have won the division. They're reigning champs. They got to the NFC Championship. Until it falls, I'm sitting back and I'm letting everything else cook. But I don't mind the fans that are getting a little nervous. Yesterday, the Chicago Bears got better. I think the Green Bay Packers got better as well. Bears add your boy DeAndre Swift, 3 years, $24 million, so $8 million a year. They also add Kevin Byard, safety, all-pro Titans last year. He was traded to
that defense was already
the
good.
Eagles, 100%. You see what the Packers did, which is a little bit confusing. They get rid of Aaron Jones, who now is a Viking,
right?
And they bring in Josh Jacobs, a guy that was going to get $11 million last year. He gets 3 years, $24 million as well. Maz, I'll start off with you.
Yeah.
You as being an avid lover of the NFC North for all these years, the NFC Central, then the NFC North. Are you a little bit nervous for the Detroit Lions considering the moves that were made?
Not really, because each team is robbing from each other. And not only that, the Vikings, I don't think, will be a factor in this race. I think they will finish third or fourth, depending on if the Bears can knock them out. It's between the Lions and the Packers. It always was going to be that. And to get Josh Jacobs, I think, is a great move for them. It's kind of like what the Lions did. When they let Swift go, they brought in David Montgomery. They got an upgrade, and they took him from the Bears. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Packers go, and they rob a team in the NFC North. I was an Aaron Jones fan.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, he's one of the best backs in the game.
He actually
And he looked great in the playoffs.
He statistically was the best back in the NFL the last 7 games, including the playoffs. He was the best running back in the league.
I love Aaron Jones.
That's when Jordan Love played his best football.
Correct.
Too. Had like his best by far.
But he's not getting a slouch in Josh Jacobs.
No.
Josh Jacobs
can play.
is right there with Aaron Jones and does not get injured a lot. So you got that. And who else did they get? Sam Darnold goes to the Vikings. So Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold go in. Alexander Madison goes out. Kirk Cousins is out. I don't think it's an upgrade with those two players, but I'd say the Vikings are at least still in the run.
Yeah.
He goes back. Sam Darnold goes back with who? Your buddy, Kevin O'Connell.
I like this for Sam Darnold. Here's why I like it for Sam Darnold. I like it for the Vikings. The Vikings already have a slew of weapons at the skill position. You got best wide receiver in the league, arguably. I don't think it's arguably, but you got the best wide receiver in the league. You have one of the best tight ends in the league. T.J. Hockenson seemed like he started finding himself with the Vikings towards the end of the year.
They got a hell of a 2 and 3 wide receiver.
100%. And then also on the other side, who you're talking about is Jordan Addison out of USC. Had a
KJ
really
Osborne.
good rookie, KJ Osborne. They got a good 1-2 punch. And now you add Aaron Jones, who's a guy that can catch out of the backfield. You put him in the backfield. Sam Darnold, I think, has gotten better over time. He had some good games with the Carolina Panthers. He didn't play last year. I think experience will be a great factor for him. But you put a guy like him with Kevin O'Connell, who he's been with before in New York.
And Josh McCown, their quarterback's coach. 100%. He played with the Jets, right?
But you know what they're doing
Josh
in the draft?
was there a year after me.
They're taking J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, 100%.
So Sam Darnold's going to teach J.J. McCarthy. Or whatever quarterback they take at 8. Or whatever, what number they're at? What are they, 10?
11.
11, they're 11.
Whoever falls to them at 11, they're taking a quarterback.
They may have to move up, especially after how JJ played how he practiced and how he threw at the combine, how he interviewed.
They're getting their rookie quarterback this year.
100%.
There's not a question about it.
If let's say it was Minnesota, how many games do you think before JJ would take over starting quarterback?
He's a better quarterback than Darnold probably from day one, but I would sit him all 17 games. Just call it a redshirt year. Let him actually learn. They're not going to – I don't think they're going to be that great, but at the same time, Minnesota Vikings, they surprise you when you least expect it.
They're still solid, man.
Yeah, they're still solid, and they improved their defense. Like, we're talking all these offensive players. They added
Van Ginkel.
They added Van Ginkel.
Yeah, Van Ginkel.
They added
2 years,
Jonathan
$20
Greenard.
million. Yes.
Greenard's a good player. A good player. You see what they're doing. They're filling out their linebacker core. Blake Cashman. Yeah. They're filling out the middle of the field because who's in the NFC North?
The Lions. 100%. You saw how they used Jahmyr Gibbs, how they used Dave Montgomery, how they used Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a lot of underneath routes. But that lets you know the Lions are the tops of this division because whenever you're scouting and whenever you're adding players to go against number one, the Lions happen to be number one.
And who are they not bringing back? Likely. Danielle Hunter. Who the Lions, who Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell. He was a no-show almost in the Lions game. So they realize paying a top edge rusher probably isn't their solution. All right, we're going to figure it out with linebackers, with secondary pieces, which I actually disagree with. I think you still got to find a way to break through an offensive line. But that's what having the number one offensive line, signing a guy like Graham Glasgow, which maybe isn't sexy, but it's the right move for this team.
Yeah, I think it's the right move for this team because he plays all 3 positions. Yeah. He plays guard, he plays tackle, and he plays center too.
And he wants to be here.
And he wants to be here. And that's very key. Maz, I'm going to ask you this, and I think you already answered, so maybe I'll switch it to Broder. Who is the team that bothers you the most in the division. Obviously, Green Bay, you saw what they did last year, but Chicago, they got the number 1 pick. They have the 9th pick. They've added some more players this year. And then the Minnesota Vikings, who are one of those wiry teams. You just never know what the Vikings are going to give you.
To me, it's the Packers.
Okay.
I'm close to saying the Bears. I just don't know if I believe in it yet. They paid a lot of incredible players, but they're also a lot of secondary players. It's the little guys. And we just talked about the Vikings. If this offensive line for the Lions continues to be one of the best in the NFL, we still got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery running right through it. So I think it's the Packers. I definitely would have said the Packers if they kept Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. I thought that would be an incredible 1-2 punch. But the key, I think the biggest addition, if you're not counting Jalen Johnson in the NFC North, it's safety Xavier McKinney for the Green Bay Packers. He's an absolute stud. And he's going to fit perfectly in that defense. They just got to figure out how to get the most out of Rashawn Gary, out of their younger Quay Walker, their younger players that have had spurts of really good play, but kind of faltered. They were inconsistent last year. So I'm going with the Packers because of Xavier McKinney only.
Crazy stories you hear out with Jalen Johnson in terms of last year he went to see a therapist for sex addiction. I saw that. Did you see that?
I saw
that. Good for
that.
him, though. Hey, man, look, he admitted he had a problem. He went and saw a therapist. He's going to be a much better player because of it.
Not a massage therapist, an actual therapist.
Right, like a real therapist.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, unlike somebody we know in Cleveland.
Now, you're talking about McKinney. He leaves the Giants. The Giants did a lot of work. They got Brian Burns. They stole him from the Panthers.
A second and a fifth rounder.
Do you realize the Panthers passed up 2 number 1s and a 2 from the Rams at the trade deadline?
What did the Panthers
2 number 1s and a 2. And they get a 2 and a 5 for him.
And pay a guard $110 million.
If I'm the Carolina Panthers and the Tepper family and just the ownership and everything, I would sell the team. Like if I like,
a disaster.
I think they need to sell the team because they have become more and more negligent. You hit the nail on the head on Friday, Maz. The Chicago Bears situation should be the Carolina Panthers situation right now.
Of course.
Meanwhile, it's not. I mean, you look at the deal right now. Trades to the Panthers are trading Brian Burns at last to the Giants. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a defensive line with Lawrence on the defensive line. Kayvon Thibodeau has shown up. Like, he's a guy that we was he may not be this, he may not be that. Kayvon Thibodeau is starting to show up more and more. That defensive line has just turned into one of the more interesting.
They paid Burns $30 a year for 5 years.
That's the going rate now for players like that. Christian Wilkins, you see what he signed? He signed $28 million a year. You see,
he's the highest now. Burns is the highest.
This is why everyone who's freaking out about the Lions right now, I say take a step back.
Yeah.
Chris Jones, I believe, is the only person in that mix that's worth $30 million a year. He's on a different level. He changes all 3 levels of your defense with just one player.
Not to cut you off.
No,
you saw
Braylon,
the difference.
anytime.
You saw the difference with the Kansas City Chiefs. When he wasn't in there, the Kansas City Chiefs looked like a team. Are they going to make the playoffs?
Probably not. They definitely wouldn't have.
They weren't going to make the playoffs. Insert Chris Jones. Now they got 2 All-Pros in that secondary, 3 Pro Bowlers in the secondary, and oh, by the way, they dominated 3 good offenses in the playoffs. I mean, Chris Jones is that.
He's worth it. And Brian Burns and Christian Wilkins, they're terrific players. They're in a different tier than Chris Jones.
Yeah.
They should be in the 25 or below, $20 to $25 million range. But the market is they're getting 30. So do we want to be paying the second tier down? Great players, the second tier down of these defensive players who probably would fit well with this team. But you're paying 4 or 5 years at $30 million. No, thank you.
I would. I still would.
Yeah.
You're asking me as a fan?
I am asking you as a fan. Yeah.
You're damn right I want them. You're damn right I want those guys because that ain't my money. They'll figure a way. To me, you'll always figure a way to massage the salary cap. Teams do it. San Francisco signs everybody.
And they still haven't won a Super Bowl.
They haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years, but they get there.
They still haven't won.
Lions haven't been there ever.
But they got close last year.
Ever.
They got close last year, man, doing it this way. And that's why I'm giving a lot of grace to Brad Holmes. Look, I can sit here and play the game and be mad at that secondary that was trash last year.
I still want somebody.
Or be mad that they didn't go after a defensive end or defensive or outside linebacker last year before the trade deadline, much like the 49ers did in Chase Young. I could be mad at that, but I'm watching the plan. The plan has come true. I mean, they were 7 minutes away and 2 goofy calls. We don't need to get back into that. From being in the Super Bowl this year. So I'm going to let them cook and let them do it this way. Also, they're getting more and more players, depth. You get the 1-year deals and you're not spending the money. They're going to set the market. Amon-Ra St. Brown won't set the market, but he'll be one of those receivers that'll be in the upper echelon. Panay Sewell will set the market. He will be the highest paid tackle in football when his time comes due. And so is coming for Aiden Hutchinson.
And then someone will pass him because that's football.
Aiden Hutchinson will set the market for defensive end when he comes due. We know that time is coming. We've gotten to the NFC Championship without paying anybody, so I got to keep it going. Just to get back to the division, I agree with you on the Green Bay Packers, but I got an interesting take. I said this to Terry Foster and Anson Wells. Shout out to those guys. They had a hell of a show yesterday. The Chicago Bears are just that team that scares me. I think the Green Bay Packers are a better team. You saw what they did. They were 7 minutes away from playing against the Lions in the NFC Championship. So 100% it's the Green Bay Packers in terms of who I think is next in the division. But the Bears scare me more. They're just one of those teams, like you see what happened last year. They beat the Lions. They had no business beating the Lions. Lions went up there. They got beat. That team got better with Montez Sweat. They got better in the offseason. You add DeAndre Swift, who looks like he has a new lease on life yet again. They're just a team that scares me more. I think they scare me more than Green Bay. They could mess it up and give Green Bay an easy win. That's how I look at that. But Green Bay is a better team.
Pete, if you got time, pop up that Bears new look offense when it's all said and done with this draft and Caleb Williams is their quarterback. It's a pretty damn good looking offense for the Bears, and they already had a terrific defense. Re-sign Jalen Johnson and go out and get their other players. Pardon?
Are they moving up to get somebody? Oh,
look at that offense. I mean, take a look at that.
I like it.
That means Roma
Odunze.
Odunze with the knife. But I mean, they look good.
Yeah,
Cole Kmet, good tight end. They could play, man.
What about this? What if you substitute Caleb Williams' picture with Justin Fields, keep him, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with your first pick?
I said that a long time ago, but I gave up on that.
And
it's
at
over.
9. It's probably over. The piece that's missing for this Bears offseason is probably coming in the draft is offensive linemen. Multiple. So what if they take one of either the top tackles in the draft, a tackle/guard, or what if they just take Jackson Powers-Johnson at number 9?
They
with
could.
Justin Fields.
Easily.
And 3 solid running backs. I'm a DeAndre Swift fan, too. I don't know if I'm picking the Bears if I'm him. Their offensive line is not there yet. But him, Herbert, and I like Roshan Johnson. He's a stud.
He ain't going anywhere. He's there.
No, he's there for a couple of years.
They're all, you know, Swift ain't going to play. He's going to play 60% of the plays, maybe.
$8 million a year. $8 million.
Yeah.
$8 million behooves me. Like, and you say you wouldn't have went to Chicago? Yes, you would have.
I would.
Nobody else is giving Swift $8 million. I looked at him. I'm like,
Philly wanted to give him like 5. That's why he left.
That's the going number for him. You saw what he did in Detroit. Detroit, not only was he injured, we had to actually ask DeAndre Swift. You remember watching Hard Knocks? Deuce Staley had to ask him, like, did he have it?
Yeah.
Almost he wanted to say, like, do you have the heart? He didn't say that. He was asking why you running between.
And then what happened?
He went back home where he's from, Philly, contract year. He seized the moment. I mean, early on in the season, he already had 1,200 by game 8.
He was running wild. Those bumps and bruises that kept him out of games in Detroit, they weren't showing up in Philly. He's getting that money. And David Montgomery, that deal looks better and better each and every day. $6 million a year for David Montgomery. I'd still take him over all these running backs.
With the Chicago deal, I mean, you're looking at that as they show it right now on another network. It's just tough for the Bears to pass up yet another number 1 quarterback, Broder. I think that's where it comes down to. You look at over the years, I mean, we're talking about the best season for a Chicago Bears quarterback is still Eric Kramer.
That's wild.
I'm sorry, how long ago was that?
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Jim McMahon's probably the best quarterback that franchise has ever seen.
The only Super Bowl quarterback that's
1985.
Rex Grossman lost, but, you know.
If he didn't get hurt in 86, I think the Bears would have repeated.
No one's beating the Giants that year.
I disagree. Because the Bears were actually a better team in 86.
You were too young to know.
The Bears were a better defense in 86.
You were too young to know. I watched that Giants
It's all
team.
good. You're just a New York guy.
No.
You're a New York guy. You're a New York guy, man.
We had Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, Pepper Johnson.
Maz, where you from? Maz, where you from?
Jersey.
All right, look, man. This is heating up. I'm getting excited. Let's take another break, man. I gotta keep the excitement down before I run out of voice and I'm out here like Maz. Pete, tell me where we're going.
We're going to this guy. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah. That's the big boy. Seafood Fest, Maz.
I got Seafood Fest. You know it.
The ladies'
It's
man.
Big Boy, man. A new Big Boy going up. Woodward here. It's going to be the biggest Big Boy in Michigan. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into the fish and chips, their new Parmesan crusted cod. How about the big boy must try? The new mango iced tea goes perfectly with the popcorn shrimp, the shrimp Alfredo, and the shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy, especially Friday nights. It's the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet at your local Big Boy.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
What happens when you run a great business model for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford has done by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. You're talking about 4 miles in that direction. Oh, you can't see me, but we're on Woodward. Head that way. Great people doing great things. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn as well today at LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com. Together. Let's drive. Let's drive. Welcome back. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We'll see you soon. Ryan and Ermanni. We got the main man, Matt Broder, from Wake Up Woodward, filling in for us today. How you
Thanks for
feeling
coming
over
in
there,
today, Matt.
Appreciate you.
It's a new angle. There's so much going on here.
You can see more now, right?
You can. Usually I'm staring at Mike, at KG's in the booth, Wake
true.
Up Woodward, but now it's there's the hairdressers. We got roast coffee over. You see everything.
You see Maz.
Yeah.
There's no couch right here anymore. It feels like more space in the studio.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
I
missed the couch, though.
I like the space we had, like especially being in that seat. You feel like it just feels more free. But you're at that couch.
I'm like Sam Cooke, baby. Change is gonna come, and you must welcome
Great
in.
song.
So
Great
we
song.
will 100%. It is. Maz, it's a lot going on around the NFL. Starting with a guy named Derrick Henry, used to play for Tennessee Titans. Maz, who does he now play for?
Whew. Can you say Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield?
That's tough.
He is with the Ravens, guys. The Ravens, Derrick Henry, 2 years, $16 million. Only $8 million for the King. That's on, man.
DeAndre Swift money.
Yes, that is a signing.
I look at it like
is a signing.
I look at it like this: hell of a signing for them. And also, when you're a franchise and you have certain players, you have a Lamar Jackson, you're used to winning. Winning is synonymous with you. You've been to the Super Bowl, you won some. People will take pay cuts to come to your franchise and organization because they believe you got a shot. This is definitely a pay cut by Derrick Henry, but also Derrick Henry has not had the same type of success that he had in 19 or in 18, 19, and 20.
How could he?
He's been banged up.
Right.
Last couple of years, he's been injured. He hasn't played full season.
Hasn't had a quarterback.
He's 245 pounds, man. I'm telling you like this. The bigger you are as a player,
the harder you fall.
Those injuries, they add up faster. You want to know? Ask Calvin Johnson about that. 6'5", 235-pound receiver. Happened fast for Calvin, didn't it? You blink once, it's like he was 1,600 yards, you blinked, and he was barely cracking 1,000, and then he ends up retiring. So I think it's a good signing for all parties involved. Man,
it seems like a perfect – oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, can you imagine tagging Derrick Henry in December at MTMT Bank Stadium, I want no parts.
Patrick Queen wants all of that, though.
Oh, speaking
Going
of that,
to
you
the
mentioned
Steelers. He signed before Derrick Henry signed with the Ravens, right? I wonder if he would have done the same, probably for that kind of money. But you're right, it seems like the perfect fit. And when you're talking about an older player like Derrick Henry, an older running back, he's going to be banged up a little bit. In a new location, a new home, you're looking for a place that's going to challenge for a Super Bowl. Yeah. You're looking for that little extra edge to help you play out these last couple of years of your career, especially being so big and being so dominant in the past. I think this is just the right move to give him a little bit more juice.
He's got a chance to go to a Super Bowl.
I think he does have a chance. I think also, too, for the way the Ravens are looking at it, Derrick Henry's a heavier guy. He's a big guy. What does he do in December? What does he do in November? He beats up on the defensive line. He beats up on the second line, the linebacker. So if you're the Ravens, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about playing against the Chiefs in the playoffs. You're thinking about seeing Chris Jones and that linebacker core. You're thinking about seeing the Buffalo Bills and that linebacker core and that defensive line. So I think this is a good move by them, too. They want Derrick Henry to bruise, and then you got the Scatback. Who came on real good last year. Can't think of his name. We'll figure it out. I'll take a quick look. But he actually...
Keaton Mitchell, he got hurt.
Yes.
And J.K. Dobbins was hurt, so they got some pieces.
Keaton took over last year at the back, so I like this move.
And Gus is gone. Gus Edwards leaves. He goes to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. All you fantasy football guys out there, what Austin Eckler did for the Chargers, Gus Edwards will score a lot in the red zone.
Is this the first Harbaugh move?
How about that?
Leaves John Harbaugh, a nice plan for Jim Harbaugh.
Good
Shout
call.
out to Gus Edwards.
I hope Jim knew he was getting Gus and not Donovan.
The Gus bus.
Yeah.
From Rutgers.
The Gus bus. Maz, here's a guy I think you like. 2-year deal signed by Gardner Minshew. 2 years, $25 million.
It's a guy, man.
He's a guy that
he wins.
Finds himself in good situations and he wins. I got to give him credit. He finds himself $12 million, but once again, this is a deal kind of like a Sam Darnold deal with the Vikings where probably still trying to go get their quarterback as well, you think?
Well, Aiden O'Connell's there. Whether they believe in him or not, I don't think so.
No.
Gardner Minshew can actually start for the Raiders, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Right now.
I agree.
Now, will they move up in the draft and get a quarterback? They sure can. What are they, sitting at like 13 or so? The Raiders?
Yes.
They're right there with the Vikings.
And they were rumored to be in the Justin Fields conversation.
Yes, that's still up there.
Yeah, I'm a
They're
fan of
kicking the tires still on that.
100%. I'm a fan of Aiden O'Connell, too, but you got to think if they're making this move, they got to be Antonio Pierce is probably looking a different direction.
Yeah.
And you think about him in a locker room with Max Crosby, like Minshew Mania is perfect for Vegas now.
And look, they just went at it. I mean, this is what Christian Wilkins signed. This is where he signs. He's now going to be right next to Max Crosby. Interesting enough, why get rid of Josh Jacobs?
I don't know. I think injuries were part of the concern.
Okay.
Probably to free up money for Christian Wilkins and knowing it's a pretty deep running back draft. They're probably looking for a cheaper running back. Time to move on from former – excuse me. Didn't he lead the league in rushing a couple years ago?
2 years ago. 1,684 yards.
Pete.
14 touchdowns. Come over here, Pete. We'll talk about a team that's near and dear to Tom Masway in my heart. Last year, what was the big concern in New York after Aaron Rodgers gets hurt?
No backup.
Never had a backup quarterback. Well, this year they went on and answered that concern. They bring in Tyrod Taylor.
All you got to do is switch locker rooms.
He doesn't have to move his house.
No.
He
went from the Giants locker room to the Jets locker room.
It's 100%. The Giants
vice versa, I mean.
Giants locker room is actually nicer than ours.
I bet.
Mara put more.
It's built for the Giants.
They put more money into it. I think it was a 1 point.
Jets should be in New York anyway.
It's like 1.4 billion when the stadium was built, and I think $1 billion of it was paid by the Giants.
What did it used to be called?
The Meadowlands.
The Giant Stadium.
Oh, Giant Stadium, yeah.
Now it's MetLife for both teams. Let's face it. As a New York guy, grew up there, Jersey guy. Do I like going to the Jets game? It's easy to get there, of course. It's easy to go up Route 3, go to both games.
I can't say this, though.
They belong in Queens, next to where the Mets play. That's where they used to play. Hudson Yards, they had a chance to play in New York City, and the Jets really still belong to have their own stadium. One of these days, I think they'll have it.
I can say this, though. The Jets have done more at the end of the Meadowlands and at the beginning of the MetLife than the Giants have done. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, for now.
Everyone's telling you guys to give me a water with lemon.
What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately?
There's only one guy that gets water with lemon.
I know. I'm messing.
That's right here.
I'm messing.
Here's an interesting team, man. I want to bring the team up, and I just want to ask you about a move they made. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Seems like every year they're looking for a wide receiver. It was Christian Kirk a couple years ago. They brought Calvin Ridley in last year in the 1 year. Not going to bring him back.
They still might come back to him.
He still might. They go and get another wide receiver this year. Gabe Davis, the guy that got paid by the Buffalo Bills after that 5-touchdown performance.
Then he disappeared
in the playoffs. I haven't seen him since those 5 touchdowns. I don't even think he has 5 touchdowns together since then. But they go get him, another guy that you don't know about. Like, is this grasping at straws for Doug Peterson and the Jaguars?
I think it's a good signing for them, actually. I think the Jags got a good guy here. And, again, they paid him a little bit, but look what they did as far as a backup quarterback. They went out and they got Mac Jones a couple days ago to back up Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones isn't going to stay there. That's Trevor Lawrence's team.
Yeah.
But in case he's just an insurance policy and he wanted to get the hell out of New England, and they stole him for like a 6th-round pick. I mean, so Mac Jones could learn from Doug Peterson, restart his career. But Gabe Davis, I think, gets a new start, new lease on life, and I think it's a great signing for Jacksonville.
Yeah, he definitely gets a new lease on life. Sometimes guys got to get fresh air and move. I want to ask you about the Jaguars because I already know what Man's going to say. Do you believe in the Jaguars? I mean, you're talking 2 years ago, a team that beat Justin Herbert, came back, Trevor Lawrence like he was on his way. He's #1 national championship with Clemson, Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram. Like, you're naming players.
Yeah.
But they didn't make the playoffs last year. What is going on in Jacksonville? Are you a buyer?
I'm not a buyer.
Yeah.
And I was last year. I'll admit it. I thought they were going to contend for a Super Bowl. I think their roster's built up really well. I think they got great coaching, or thought they had great coaching. They just haven't been able to put it all together. You think they have their franchise quarterback, and I love the toughness out of Trevor Lawrence and playing through some injuries at the end, but there's something missing. I honestly just can't put my finger on it.
It is, and this is going to sound crazy because he is a Super Bowl winning coach, but remember he got fired 2 years after winning the Super Bowl. Is it Doug Peterson?
It might be. I mean, it was definitely an upgrade from Urban Meyer.
Anything was upgrade for him, at least at the last.
But like, they have some really talented cornerbacks on their team, or had. They decided to get rid of their whole DB staff, their coaching staff. They're getting rid of Darius Williams. Tyson Campbell hasn't taken the next step.
Hey, does Trayvon Walker still play for them?
No, he does.
Oh yeah,
Jeez,
you don't even know.
#1 pick.
And next to Josh Allen, he should be thriving.
And he doesn't. It's also,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation. But, this isn't Jacksonville, so let's get off that. Maz, speaking of New York, speaking of the Giants, Saquon Barkley leads the Giants for the rival Philadelphia Eagles.
I hate that.
Like, what does that do to the New York Giants? You see what Tiki Barber came out and said?
Yeah,
he said, you're dead to me.
Yeah. Neither one of those guys liked each other anyway.
Yeah.
Giants today signed Devin Singletary. So New York radio is already saying, oh, that's great. You pay less to Singletary. He's the same back as Saquon Barkley. That's what they're saying on New York radio. I disagree. I think Saquon is a much better back than Devin Singletary, but the Giants went cheap there, and they spent money on defense, as you know, with Brian Burns. So it is what it is. Saquon to the Eagles, it's the same crap as what we're doing here in the North with the Packers and the Vikings and the Bears all stealing players from each other, and the Steelers and the Ravens stealing players from each other as well. So it's just you try to hurt your opponent and try to improve your own lot. Who knows where that's going to go, man?
I will say this, though. I do like what Saquon was paid. Because if you're going to pay DeAndre Swift $8 million a year, Saquon Barkley's making 3 years, $37 million, so just over 12, I believe. And remember what happened last year? They tried to undercut him and pay him 10.9, so good for him. He got his money. Do you like that move for the Eagles, bringing in Saquon Barkley? You know he's had his injury issues or situations, but do you like that move?
I do for the Eagles. I'm not sold on the Eagles and what they've done as a whole, and I know a lot of people think they're the winners already. I can't figure it out quite yet, but Saquon to them is a good move for Saquon too. I know they're losing Jason Kelce, but that's still going to be a top offensive line. I don't know how near the top, but they've been grooming their center, their backup center.
Right,
they're going to be fine on offense. I just don't know.
Push might not work well.
No,
yeah, it might not. Although Saquon and those quads behind Jalen Hurts, not too shabby. They haven't addressed their secondary yet. So I don't know, that was their worst part of the. That's what fell apart down the stretch.
Maybe they'll get CJ back.
He hates Philadelphia. He's not going there.
I hope he stays here.
That is the last place CJ.
Do you think he stays here? Gardner Johnson on the cheap.
I'm 55 yes, 45 no.
Okay.
I think it's a perfect spot for him for a 1-year deal, especially with the safety market.
He liked it here, right?
He loves it here.
Yeah.
He loves it here. And you know what? People are worried. I know that they're worried about the antics and whatnot. And to
I
me,
like it.
I love it. I love it. And I would worry if there's nothing that excites a player like that outside of the locker room. But he is so ingrained in this Detroit hip-hop scene already. That's a major factor in all that. He wants a long-term deal.
I
don't know
back,
if the
man.
Lions are going to give it to him. But with all the safeties that hit the market, they might be able to get him one more 1-year deal, prove he can stay healthy, follow Aaron Glenn next year, wherever he becomes the head coach, get a long-term deal, and move on. But
3
I think he's
teams in
perfect.
3 years
I
for
like
a young
that.
26-year-old guy.
Hey, he's got
I'm just
attention
saying.
deficit disorder.
I'm just saying. There's a reason that he's on 3 teams
Well, look,
in
he's-
3 years. Yet he is one of my favorite players.
Because there's a reason Brad Holmes stalked him out from the Eagles, made sure that if you're not signing a long-term deal, you're coming to Detroit. Literally, Brad Holmes talked about it on his drive home from work every single day. He's calling up Gardner Johnson's agent and saying, all right, what you guys good today? Here's what we got to offer every day. And they got him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a real deal. And I think it could play out. Look, you talk about the injury deals. This could be an injury deal for Brad Holmes. CJ was injured last year. He didn't get a chance to show that all-pro ability, if you will. And then when he came back, look, love him in terms of getting guys riled up. Talking stuff to Baker Mayfield, talking stuff to insert wide receiver here, talking back and forth with Micah Parsons or whoever, insert player here. But the only issue I don't like is getting cooked after you do that.
That can't happen.
You can't talk all week and then get cooked, and that's kind of what happened in the playoffs. Look, he did not have a good playoff.
No.
Like if we're calling a spade, he didn't have a good playoff.
Keep in mind it was his 4th game.
And that's what I was gonna say. You gotta give him some grace. I like him. If he comes back, I think it'd be a smart move. I never thought about the Aaron Glenn angle. That's why you're you.
That's what I do. That's what we do. I want to.
That's what I do. Shout out to my man Mark Henry right there, WWE. Leonard Floyd, he's back.
2-year deal, cheap, to go to the Niners.
Not
bad.
Not at all.
Not bad. Good depth move.
This isn't even this is Leonard Floyd, a 2-year, $20 million, $10 million a year. This is a great deal for Leonard Floyd. He's not going to be asked to necessarily do much, not have to play that much. Get in there, and you're already pretty much going to the NFC Championship. Like you're already pretty much your grandfather to the semis at least. Your grandfather. I like that deal for them.
What do you think about the Rams? This is one of the teams that I actually really like what they've done.
Jonah Jackson. They
re-signed their other guard, Kevin Dotson.
They let their center go.
They did, but they have Steve Avila, who is their guard, 100%. Who's going to transition to center.
Actually, a better center.
Which he played at TCU. So they just reinforced a lot of money. So it's about $100 million for guards, but they reinforced the center of their interior offensive line.
So you know what the Lions are going to have to pay. That just shows you what the Lions are going to have to pay going forward. You just said it. If the Rams spend $100 million on 2 guards, what do you think the Lions are going to spend? 120?
Whatever the slot for the first-round pick is, or maybe second.
You also know why the Rams made this move. You saw what happened when they played him to Ford Field. Matt Stafford got beat up. Matt Stafford's getting a lot of money from the Rams. He got an extension after the Super Bowl, and he's no spring chicken. But also, the Rams were this close to beating the Lions.
Yeah.
And 2 blown calls. Look, season's over. We can talk about it now. 2 blown calls by the officials. That's what happens when you're one of those teams now. So I love it. But
and that Lions defensive line, they played well in that game.
Yeah, they did.
They got Kyron Williams now, who's an All-Pro running back.
He's nice.
They got to address their secondary, but in terms of protecting Stafford and whoever comes after Stafford, they're going offensive line. I'm cool. I mean, if I were a Rams fan, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I liked it for the Rams, man. Austin Eckler and Marcus Mariota to the Commanders. Austin Eckler follows Eric Bieniemy, who leaves.
It's a cheap deal, too. 2 years for $11.43 million.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's a smart move for them. It's a smart move. And
Washington's not a bad team.
They used to need an offensive line, and they'd be a really good team. I guess defense.
What do you do if you're the Washington Commanders? You're number 2 on the board. Obviously, they got themselves a backup quarterback, Marcus Mariota, Heisman Trophy winner out of Oregon. You legitimately have the 2nd pick.
That's tough.
And do you move up with if they let you move up? Let's say Caleb Williams is off the board. What do? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Drake May? Are you moving back? Do you take a flyer on J.J. McCarthy? Like, what do you do as the Washington Commanders? I think there's only one player.
You go first.
Jaden Daniels.
You think stay right at 2, take Jaden Daniels?
They also have Sam Howell still there.
Yeah, but Sam Howell's a stopgap quarterback. Like Sam Howell,
I don't know. I think he's better than that.
he had some games in there, but he also throws a lot of interceptions. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's just a gunslinger, which I like. He's better.
How about getting a Marvin Harrison?
I think he's better than Drake May.
How about getting a Marvin Harrison?
They have a lot of wide receivers, though. They got Scary Terry. Like they
Put
have
Terry on one side and Marvin on the other side. Curtis Samuel, is he gone now?
I think
Samuel?
he's in. I can't remember if he's a free agent or he's in trade talks.
Yeah.
Someone's looking at him.
Yeah.
Is it the Bears?
I'm just saying, if you believe in Sam Howell, and I haven't heard a word about that, then you take Marvin Harrison, or you take the best offensive lineman available at that point. But
So
that
that's where
pick
I'm
is
going.
worth a ton if you move down.
Yes.
You don't think Minnesota or Oakland or the Raiders want to move up?
Shoot, the Patriots.
Giants, Patriots.
Patriots are sitting at 3. They're going to get a guy. They're going to get a guy.
Are they going to get their guy?
Who knows?
Who is their guy?
It's a quarterback.
A kicker?
It's got to be a quarterback.
Behind Jacoby Brissett for a year, it's JJ.
They're so far
that's
back
true.
right now. They are like starting from scratch. Those Super Bowls, that's a memory. You're not gonna hear of the Patriots for years. It's over.
So if
for the
I'm them,
Patriots.
they have so many needs. If I'm them, I try to trade back a
Just
couple
start building.
slots.
Just
Like with
start
the Giants at 6, trade back, let the
Yep.
Giants go take Drake
Look
May.
what the Lions did. You have to become the Lions.
Yeah. But if I'm Washington, and I'm not even a Caleb Williams fan, there's two things I'm doing. I'm going up and making sure that he's my quarterback at number 1 because he wants to play there.
Especially with Cliff Kingsbury sitting on the sideline.
Exactly.
He knows Cliff Kingsbury.
Exactly. Or I'm trading back a couple spots again and taking Joe Alt, their left tackle, and just build that line. Or Fatanu from Oregon State, or Oklahoma State, he's good
Oklahoma
too.
State.
There's a lot of great ones. I think Alt's the best, but I'm starting there while gaining a couple more draft picks. They're going to get a haul for that number 2 pick if they
Hell
trade
yeah.
back.
And the Bears would get a lot for 1, but they're not moving.
Do you think so?
They're not moving.
I just think the Bears might have just listened to too many people talking about them messing up all these years. Like they're so negligent in the draft as it relates to quarterbacks in the first round. Like their history is ridiculous. Not even the long history. You just do the last 5-6 years. The history's horrible. The history's
Wild.
horrible.
It's
When we
wild.
when we come back, let's go over the remaining free agents that are on the list.
I like that, man. But first, let's get a message from.
What do you got?
Well,
Save it.
It's gonna. You want me to save it?
What
I'll
position
save
is
it.
it?
What position?
What's your favorite position?
Pass rusher.
Pass
Ooh,
rusher.
that must be
Let
it.
that linger. Lions
is it for
or
the
NFC
Lions?
North? Or don't tell us.
I don't know which team. Maybe we're gonna have to wait to find out when we come back from break.
But first, the message from.
It would be Broder over there, my friend. Broder, you got merch.
Merch! Are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? I'm usually wearing it, just not today. I got my contract year gear on, but it's a new era in sports wearables. New designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, and the hats are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop.
Yeah, and I have the good news and bad news for you there, Broder, and everybody else out there. The bad news is insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. The good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent ya.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights. Live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
If his name... We ready. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. They have so many stylists here. You can enter at any Lady Jane's location for a chance to win the $50K Perfect Bracket Challenge. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
And also, we are as well. Welcome back to the second hour of the show. Ermanni and Edwards with Matt Broder, my man who knows a lot about a lot, is in. Matt, quick question, man. I saw this, and we were talking about this yesterday. Michigan Senior Day. Michigan Senior Day was Sunday. They lost to Nebraska. It was their 23rd loss, which is a record for the University of Michigan all time. But did you see how many people were there?
There were more people. So we were at senior night for Oakland University, the Wake Up Woodward crew. There were more people at the Arena out in Rochester than there were at Chrysler Center.
That is crazy. And I understand they're horrible.
On senior night.
Senior night. That's the night where, regardless of how good your team is,
you show your love to your institution.
Yes.
You show your support to your school. It's bigger than just, they're not good. Like, here's the picture, and this is legit. This isn't after the game. This isn't like before the game started. Like, this is when they're announcing seniors.
That entire gymnasium is packed when Caitlin Clark is playing the women's team.
I snuck to that game, by the way.
It was
when they played. I was in the building. Just talk about what that real quick. Just as an alum, as a Michigan guy, like, what does that do to you? Like, for me, that is painful.
It's painful because there are many. I don't know how many the details of which seniors graduate or how many they had, but from my perspective as a baseball player who wasn't a star on the team, I wasn't one of the main players. But senior night, that's your recognition for all the work you did, all the 6 a.m.s, all the extra conditioning, all the team bonding stuff you did. It just is the culmination of your time at your school. In Michigan, it means so much to those players, or at least it did. And to have that kind of reception, you want your friends, all the students that are there. I don't understand why there weren't more students at the game. I don't know if it's spring break or something.
The Maze Rage is gone now.
It's gone?
It's gone. I mean, it's there, but no one shows. It's mostly just seniors that are sitting there. There's no rage at all. The only rage is from the fans, like guys like us that are sitting outside looking at what Juwan Howard did to this program. I'm sorry. He took a program that was on fire and he burned it down. The most losses in school history, and finished last for the first time since I was 5 years old. 1967. 5 years old, this thing. 5 years old. They've never lost as many games. The house that Cassie Russell built, Chrysler Arena, now the Chrysler Center, and they did a great job at the Chrysler Center, and they haven't fired this guy.
Crazy, Cassie Russell never won a national championship. I think he lost in the national championship once. I think he got to the Final Four. Crazy, he never won. Maz, we were talking to Anson yesterday. Anson brought up a good point, and so did Terry Foster. You remember the Millen Man March?
Yeah.
Obviously, what happened with Matt Millen, it was to show their lack of support for what the Lions were doing. They went 0-16.
That was our boy Sean Beligian put that together.
100%.
And Rob Parker.
100%. Speaking of Rob Parker, I have to tell you about him later. Could this be in a good thing? Could this be a part of that? It's like, hey, look, man, like,
I think it speaks for itself, Bray.
Yeah, it does.
Look at that stadium.
Yeah.
Look at that arena. No one gives a damn anymore. They're not even competitive.
Remember when I showed you the Rob Parker getting dunked on at the celebrity game I had?
Yep.
There were more people at that than
Yeah.
that.
No, it's a shame, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame. And Ward Manuel has not done himself any favors in this last year. That's all I got to say. He won a national championship thanks to Jim Harbaugh. Nothing to do with what Ward Manuel did.
Yeah, he reached out to me about the YMCA deal. Let's just say I didn't text him back.
He kept the wrong coach with the initials JH.
It's a great cake.
How about that? I mean, I hope he knew what he was doing. He wasn't thinking he was getting rid of Juwan.
Let me tell you something. It's a disaster there.
He blew that.
It's worse because it seemed like such a perfect fit when it started. Not just an alum, but
too.
a Fab
I was
Five
excited
member.
about it.
And then the first 2 years.
He was crying at his press conference, and that's the type of.
Now I'm crying.
Yeah.
He has anger issues. It shows. There's something wrong when a guy that's been there for 20 years, your strength and conditioning coach, fights with him, and he steps away. Obviously got a settlement. They had to keep it quiet, basically. If it wasn't for little rumors here and there, we wouldn't have known that he fought with him, too. We already know what he did on the court to the coach. I forgot what team they played.
Wisconsin.
It's terrible, man. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, the Wisconsin situation it's wild, it's tough. You know, you can never put yourself in that situation. You're a leader of men, the leaders in the best. You can't put hands regardless of what happens. The strength and conditioning coach, look, I know people get miles and people say a lot, so I don't know what was said, so I don't comment on that. But in that moment, the Wisconsin game, that's a tough one, and he was never the same after that. We've talked about that. He never was the same.
That's a fact.
He'll never be the same. I think, man, also, not everybody was made to be a college coach. Not everybody is there to cultivate kids that are 17, 18 to 21 or 20. Some guys are NBA coaches. Some guys aren't college football coaches. They're NFL coaches where you could talk a little different. But
I thought he was going to be that guy. And with Phil the key signing to me was Phil Martelli.
Yeah.
I thought, what a perfect situation. What a perfect situation for a first-time head coach. He'll recruit like an animal, and Phil Martelli will help him be a head coach of the University of Michigan Wolverines. It just didn't work out.
Health problems, too.
He did. That was his
he had
past
heart
summer.
issues.
He had heart surgery, actually.
By the way, I know they're asking in the chat for the breaking news. You weren't in here when the news was actually broken, but Pete, but you want to share what you were telling us, Pete?
It was nothing
it's not
that
exactly
big.
breaking.
It's all good. I know you're
Chase
go
Young had a bowl
of
of cereal. That's what Pete wanted to tell you.
I just
what
want
is he?
time. No, just Chase Young is going to still visit. He's going to now visit the Titans on top of the Saints and the Panthers. That's all. But it's. I mean,
you
that's
guys top 3 teams.
Yeah, those are his top 3 teams.
What did I say, Pete? I said, don't make me regret this. I said, don't make me regret this, Pete. And lo and behold,
I told you.
You know what, man? I gotta start listening.
I can't
to you more.
I can't make you look bad.
Pete, I'm just messing with you, man.
I know
you know,
you
it's been me and you the last week strong. You and I have
But
been every day.
but
so
you're my boy,
apologize.
dude.
I should have the microphone controls right here in
You
front
should
of
be
me.
able to hit mute.
I
for
should
every mic.
have them here.
Like they can do our mics.
No one knows
Pause.
better than me.
Pause.
I've known
Pause.
Pete for too long.
Yeah.
The mute button should be right here.
Side note, that truck right there is so funny, Broder. That's the perfect example. There's always a bigger guy on the yard because I have the same truck but the smaller version. I always think mine's a big truck. I get in and feel like, yeah, that's a big. I saw that truck pull up. I thought that was Optimus Prime. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Why do we as Americans need these things?
These
Why
big
do we?
trucks.
I saw a guy in a Hummer H3 the other day.
Yeah.
Bro.
My car looked like a VW Beetle
Like
next
that truck,
to his
I wish
car.
I could go outside and stand next
What
to it.
do you
so people
need
can see
these
how tall
big
that
vehicles
truck is.
for? I don't get it. No wonder people hate us. Other countries hate us.
Well, you know what
What do
America
we
is.
need this for?
It's always a pissing contest. Excuse my French.
Terrible.
So I mean, but it's a nice truck though. It's a nice
I
truck.
bet you that guy has one. I bet you that guy just has a wife. That's it.
Nah, he's got a wife and something on the side too. I
Probably does.
promise you that. All right,
Hey, I sell cars too, and I just don't. I don't get it.
Getting off the rails. I'm
I don't
going
get
to
it.
get us back on track. Speaking of the NFL, there are still a lot of good free agents out there, including Chase Young, who's eating cereal apparently.
And the Lions need a pass rusher. They need an edge.
They don't need
Not him.
Not
Okay.
him. This is my thing
I'm
with
with you.
Chase Young, and we'll go down the list, Maz. You bring us through the list. Calvin Ridley's a guy I'm interested in. With Chase Young, you saw him at Ohio State, and you see him with the Commanders. You hear what comes out of Washington. It's like, look, the guy he sets his other teammates up for failures. He's not always in. He rushes whenever he wants to. That's not following a scheme. That ain't gonna work here.
No.
That's not working. I use aim for effect. That's not working with Dan Campbell. That's not working with Aiden Hutchinson's defensive line. If he came here with that, it would be problems, and here we'd be right back at square one.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen. He's incredibly talented,
He
but
is,
everything
yeah.
you said, it's all the other stuff
Yeah.
that the Lions look for. He's got his reputation. I don't know if he's a good or a bad guy, but he's got his reputation
Yeah.
for taking plays off and whatnot. Again, he's talented, but it's not the fit.
Maz, how about we do this? How about we go down this list of players?
Yes, sir.
And how about we say if we would like this guy on the squad or not?
All right.
Or would it fit?
I like this.
All right, obviously, Daniil Hunter, 29-year-old pass rusher from the Vikings.
Yeah. I mean,
How much could he expect to get now?
26,
28.
He ain't getting-
26
no.
You think 30?
he's inching closer to 30.
A
The longer this goes
26-year-old.
on,
But yeah, to your point, Brian Burns is getting 30. Wilkins didn't. Yeah.
he's better than Burns. Or he's in that, they're in a similar
How
category.
old
28 to
is, how old's
30.
Burns?
26,
He's
27.
26 and Hunter's 30?
Yeah,
Yeah,
big difference.
So maybe 27, 28 million. I'm not into
All right.
that, but I'm into Daniil Hunter on this team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you cleared that up. On the team, I am interested in Daniil Hunter. I just look at the end of the day, you get
So am I, Brian.
you get two monsters
So am
like
I.
that on the outside, him and Aiden Hutchins. 'Cause all he's gonna do is make what Aiden Hutchins did even that much better, and even the interior as well. So yeah,
But like you said, he got dominated in the playoffs.
he got
by us.
He got dominated by the Lions.
Yeah,
But guess what? He wouldn't have to go against the Lions anymore.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick Queen's been signed, so
Yep.
he's scratched. Derrick Henry scratched. Calvin Ridley.
Love it.
Go to you first. I got to let the wide receiver answer this
I
one.
love Calvin really to the extent. Look, last year was his first year back in football. He took a year off for the gambling situation, which now we look at the gambling situation and we kind of laugh at how it's being run. Now you look at him as a different person. Plus, I love the open letter that he presented last season before it started. You're talking about a guy that still is fast, still has elite route running ability.
it.
Had some drops last year, which is not typical for him, but he took a whole season off. It takes a second to get back in there. I like this, and you really still need that guy. You're not bringing Josh Reynolds back. You need that third wide receiver or maybe a two wide receiver depending on the growth of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I don't think he'd be that expensive. Last year, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. I like Calvin Ridley.
Thing is with Khalif Raymond, he's our number 4 making
four.
$5-6 million a
Special
year.
teams guy.
Josh
Yeah.
Reynolds may be looking in the 7-8 million. If you don't bring back Josh Reynolds, Calvin Ridley's on my list for sure. I'd prefer to go with a wide receiver in the draft. There are a bunch who are great.
How about DPJ on your own team?
I love DPJ.
So do I.
He and Reynolds are too similar of a wide receiver
Yes.
to both be on the team together. But I'll take if you don't bring Reynolds back, I'm so happy with DPJ. We just didn't get to see him in what he can really do at the end of that season. But he's that reliable Josh Reynolds type. He can do kick return, punt return. DPJ's a reliable stud.
I'd keep him.
Also, two things I love about DPJ. One, his church is down the street. His high school is around the corner from Ford Field. Wonderful mother, but also he played the number 1 wide receiver in Cleveland. Remember, Odell Beckham was hurt the entirety of the time he was there. Juice Landry was hurt when he was there as well. He was a number 1 wide receiver, so he has that playmaking ability from the number 1 position. And in school, up the street, national champs.
Does he go to Tampa Bay? Or was he that number 1 with Baker in Cleveland?
He was, yeah.
Or was that Jacoby Brissett?
No, that was Baker.
I know Cleveland or Tampa Bay's looking for a third receiver too.
They got a bunch of wideouts.
They got
now.
receivers.
But they're
They got 2 studs, and then they have 2 guys, the 2 speedsters.
2 young burners.
okay, so maybe they don't. Last thing I read was they're moving Godwin into the slot like full time, and they're looking for another outside.
All right.
But you're right; it's the guy from Nebraska and Russell Gage.
100%.
Yeah. So
go.
hey, I take that back.
Hey, Steve Wilds in the chat wanted to ask about DJ Reader. So I will go to DJ Reader at the bottom of this list. What about him?
Bring him home. Bring him home.
I'll let you go first.
As long as it's not too expensive, which I'm glad he didn't. The fact that he didn't go off the board yesterday gives me a little optimism that he's not going to be the Christian Wilkins type contract, but he's going to be a reasonable contract. If you can get him for under $20 million a year, I think I'm pulling that trigger. Injuries, he fits. He
does.
fits. What a torn quad last year.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
100%. And that's the type of deals that Brad Holmes likes to make. The guys that get injured, get you a little deal, a guy that really can play. Because they can't pay him because you know who's coming up soon for the Bengals. It's Hendrickson.
True.
Yeah,
True.
they can't pay both.
I bet Ali McNeil would be happy going into his contract year, having another piece
Aleem's
next
got
to
to
him.
show me one more year
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
to get paid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Agreed.
definitely.
He's got to stay healthy and redo what he did last year. He's a find. Devin White, Bucks. I'm not holding my breath.
Linebacker, outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. Devin White's a guy, man. Like,
I like him.
his stock has gone down. Like each of the last couple years. But last year, it seemed like he picked it back up towards the playoffs and in the playoffs because that defense was really stout. Yeah, I like Devin White. I just always have liked Devin White. I would take a flyer, but how much are we talking?
Yeah, I'm a big Devin White fan too. I wouldn't do it because they just gave Jalen Reeves-Maybin 7.5. There's got to be some plans to play a little more linebacker, not just special teams. So give Campbell and Barnes another year to develop. They are going to need, when Anzalone's up, they're going to need another linebacker. So, hey.
Shout out to Jalen Reeves-Maybin, by the way. He was just elected as president of the NFLPA. Shout out to you, my guy.
He's well respected.
100%. That's
one
a
of the best
job.
special teamers in the league.
This staff made sure to go get him back from the Texans.
When you are respected by your peers, there's nothing greater.
No.
It's nothing being respected by your peers, man. So shout out to Jalen Reeves.
And he's back. We're talking about negotiating a Lee McNeil's contract. Jalen Reeves-Maybin shares the same agent as Hutch, as Lee McNeil, as Jack Fox, as a handful of Lions. Vayner Sports. Gary Vaynerchuk's brother, AJ Vaynerchuk.
Now, how about Gilmore? How about bringing the Gilmore brothers together? Stephon Gilmore.
I'm in. 33 years old. 4 years ago, he was Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about a guy.
You just signed 2 corners, though.
I understand that, but you're talking about a guy that is better than both of them in terms of the knowledge, the wealth, and he can help. Look, you're not bringing him in here. You bringing him in here to be the 2. Now, he's coming in here to be the 2 behind Frank. Frank's 1, he's 2. And Fred. But it's just the ability when he needs it. Remember last year, Dallas and the Philadelphia Eagles. Who got the talking stuff? A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown got the popping off at the mouth call. Stephon Gilmore
shut him down.
He didn't catch nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't catch anything. He still has that ability, and you're not asking him to be that. You're asking him to be the 3. You're asking him to be the 2. Stephon Gilmore, 2-year deal. He knows he's 33 years old now. He knows he's older. He knows he's not getting the big money. 2-year deal, 2 years, $18 million? 2 years, 18, 17 million?
He might be one who waits till training camp to see if there's an injury, see if his market opens up a little bit. But just like we talked about with Derrick Henry, going to the Ravens to sort of rejuvenate him for the end of his career, imagine coaching up your younger brother.
100%.
At 6'2", 200 pounds.
They had the Okwara brothers. That's broken up now. You need more brother combos.
Yeah, brothers from the same mothers.
That's right.
Oh, there you go. Bring in Equiminius.
Bring him in.
How about Tyron Smith of the Cowboys? Big man.
Tyron Smith, I think it's over for him.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, look, I love him. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You saw what that line was for years in Dallas with he and Zeke and Zach Martin. You saw what it was. But he's just been banged up.
A lot of penalties on him the last playoff game.
You know why there's a lot of penalties?
Bunch of holds.
Because the knees don't work as good as they used to. The ankles don't work as good as they used to. The shoulders don't work as good. And when you got guys coming off that edge and you get beat, when they're already at you in their first step and you're late, you get beat. That's why I love him, but nah.
He's a great player, but we played this game on Monday. We debuted Peaks or Cheeks, like buy or sell, your Peaks or your Cheeks. I think he's Cheeks.
All right.
He's just too old. And I'm a fan of Taylor Decker. I say extend him. Give him 2 more years and open up some cash.
Is that right?
Decker, I think, is the second biggest cap hit, second or third on the team at this
Taylor
moment.
Decker.
I like where you're going.
Yeah, just a 2-year, 3-year deal.
Okay.
Will he do it?
Will
he do it?
Well, he will. He wants to be a Lion for his career.
Okay.
Yeah,
I definitely think he would. Remember, Taylor Decker's the longest tenured Lion. He's the one that's been here the longest through everything. And I still remember in year 1, this is something that, because he's an Old State guy. So it takes me a while to come around on the Old State guys, but I love Rob Sims. Shout out to Rob. He said, look, we've lost every other way. He said, why are we not buying into Dan Campbell? I don't care. It's something new. I'm going to buy in. What do we have to lose? That's what he said day 1, man. So I really respect Taylor Decker because I think he saying that started to get the Lions on board back in 2021. A lot of respect for Taylor Decker.
Here's one for you. Marquise Brown.
Nah, I'm out on Marquise Brown.
As your Josh Reynolds.
Right, 100%. Marquise Brown drops a lot of passes.
Okay.
He's also a kind of a headache to deal with a little bit. He's been bouncing around from
Hollywood.
He was cold in Oklahoma.
Is
but even in Oklahoma, you saw kind of what the makings were going to be with the Ravens and then with the Cardinals. I'm not trying to hate on him going somewhere else and doing well. I wouldn't bring him here.
Yeah, I'd rather have Rondale Moore.
Man,
so I'm out.
I've been talking about
You
Rondale
did
Moore
last
since
year.
last
You wanted
year.
him. Yep. Here's one, guys.
He's a Calvin Ridley type of route runner.
And
he's not Calvin Ridley.
He's explosive and dynamic
and
though.
cheap.
49ers decided to not bring back Eric Armstead.
Yeah.
Eric Armstead.
Do we know yet what he's going to cost?
Probably up.
In the Wilkins range?
Nah, it won't be that much. I think he's now operating more.
No, what did he get? 6 sacks last year?
Yeah, I think he's operating on a name and the pass. I don't think he's as good as he was. I think he's now operating that. Just like Nick Bosa. Start looking at that line. That defensive line for the 49ers did not necessarily stand up last year. Look at Nick Bosa's stats. Look at Eric Armstead's stats. Look at Jalen Hargrave's stats. They had to go out and get Chase Young, and they had all of that.
You're right.
So Eric Armstead is a guy. I'm sorry. I think his name is actually bigger than his ability left.
I think you actually just sold me on that. I didn't even put much thought into it because I was like, oh, Eric Armstead, that'd be a great addition. You might have just sold me on the reverse.
I got 20. If I'm a team, if I'm an owner, if I'm a front general manager, I got 24 million. I got 24 million for Eric Armstead. I don't have anything more.
Okay.
I got 24 million.
How about Levante David?
Oh, man, another Bucks guy from that Super Bowl championship team. A little older now.
Might get him on the cheap.
Whenever you're talking,
you guys aren't excited, so we'll move on from him.
But when you're bringing in Super Bowl champion guys, it's always a little. You always have. Go ahead. You got it, bro.
We forgot to mention that about Carlton Davis. He has won a Super Bowl.
He did
as their number one
with Brady.
With Brady,
this is true. So you bring in that. Yeah,
I love Brady. Yeah.
Go. He went to Michigan.
Yeah,
he went to Michigan.
Here's a guy for you that's got some miles on him, but I bet you he wouldn't cost much. Jadeveon Clowney.
I knew it was going to be Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon
Clowney is a guy, regardless of what team he goes on, whether it was the Texans,
he's got the name,
whether it was Cleveland, whether it was Seattle, whether it was Baltimore, he is going to find you 10 sacks. Like Jadeveon Clowney, I don't care what happens in the season. He'll play 10 games.
He's like a junkyard dog.
Sacks.
That's what he is.
It'll be ugly. It'll be nasty. He will find you 10 sacks.
Is he a good guy?
I think so.
Because, we don't sign guys that aren't good.
I haven't heard anything bad about it.
I've never heard anything bad about it.
You think of him because he's a nasty player.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Kind of stereotype him as a bit.
Well,
I haven't heard anything bad about him.
Jadeveon Clowney will always be associated with the University of Michigan because of that Citrus Bowl game and what he did to Fitzgerald Toussaint.
Vincent Smith.
Vincent Smith.
I classed with that semester. When he came back from that Outback Bowl, Vincent, he didn't say a word the rest of the semester. It was that hit was unbelievable.
I think the thing that's so crazy about that hit, we got to find that, play it at some point, is he almost picks the ball up and runs for a touchdown. Like he legitimately picked the ball up, and luckily I think Vincent and somebody else tripped him. He was about to smack him, pick the ball up and score. Like, he was number one pick from time he was a freshman.
I think that was the most beastly hit I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. And because he recovered the fumble too.
That was part of it. He's on the ground and his arm, it's like go-go gadget arm, just reaches out and brings the ball in.
From the time they said hut to the time his shoulder hit, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Here's another receiver for you.
You skipped the guy.
Give me Ladd McConkey. Give me Ladd McConkey, please.
It's Curtis Samuel I was going to bring up.
That's who we were. Who's he rumored to be going to or talking to? I'm not bringing him in.
He's a freebie.
I'm a no.
Yeah, I'm no too because I had him in fantasy football last year, and I kind of paid attention to the Commanders because I had him and I had Sam Howell as my backup quarterback for a while. Just not the same kid that I saw when he first came in the league and with the Carolina Panthers, and also that Ohio State guy. That explosion that he used to have, he doesn't have that anymore. So I'm out on Curtis Samuel.
I didn't bring up Kendall Fuller, and I didn't bring up Justin Simmons because they're not coming.
Yeah.
So we're done on them. I didn't bring them up. They are pretty damn good players, though.
Yeah.
I think you're set at the safety position if you're the Detroit Lions.
And I think if Carlton Davis was on the free agent market, I think he'd be above Kendall Fuller. I think he'd be the number 2 corner available. So we upgraded and we got a better player than Kendall Fuller.
I like it.
How about something left over from the Seattle Seahawks LOB? Bobby Wagner.
The reason why I wouldn't bring Bobby in at this point, look, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I was actually in Seattle when he was drafted out of Utah State. So shouts out to Bobby as my guy. He did the 1 year, $12 million with the Rams 2 years ago. That didn't work out. Then Seattle brings him back. I thought it was going to work. I thought between those 2 DBs they bring in him. I thought it was going to work. Didn't work out last year either. Now Seattle's letting him go again. I did think sometimes when you're in that position, when you're a hard hitter, much like a Luke Kuechly, much like a Patrick Willis, when the time comes, man, it happens fast.
Who'd we bring in for 3 games last year?
Gerard Davis. Bruce Irvin.
Bruce Irvin. Another old Seahawk.
They got drafted the same
Yeah,
year.
another old
Pete
Seahawk.
Spivak, talk to me, brother.
I promise. This is at least something. It's not like breaking news, but I just want to update you. The Bears are giving former Chargers tight end Gerald Everett a 2-year, $12 million base salary with $14 million max value of up to $14 million. That includes a $6.1 million fully guaranteed contract.
Pete, I believe. Please, I like that one.
Yeah,
I
good move
appreciate
for
that
them.
one. That was
So
a good
Cole
one.
Kmet and Everett.
And that's how. Hey,
two
look,
tight ends
Everett
set.
makes plays.
Yeah.
He made plays for the Chargers, and it's a guy. Palmer and Everett were guys that Justin Herbert tend to go to a lot because everybody else seemed to be injured all the time. So I like that for the Bears. I hate that for the Lions. You got another guy that can make plays in the passing game. They're showing you, not just running the ball. We're going to be putting the ball in the air. So
And you got to expect with either their first pick or number 9, they're getting one of those top 3 receivers.
100, yeah.
Roman, Marvin. I don't think Malik Neighbors is actually a good
LSU,
fit, but he might be the second best receiver.
Last guy on the board here is Darnell Mooney, former Bear.
Mooney.
Mooney.
He's still on the market?
Yeah.
He doesn't do it for me.
Nah.
Yeah, he reminds
Definitely
me,
not the Lions.
You know, he reminds me of a poor man's Marvin Jones.
Really?
He's like a poor man's Marvin Jones. Like
Not super tall,
No,
not
same-
super fast.
So we don't need him then.
Yeah, 100%. Like
Yeah.
same body frame.
Yeah.
Same body frame, same speed. You know, Marvin Jones is better in his prime. That's why I say he's a poor man's
I love Marvin.
Jones. That's not bad. I mean, it's still a lot of good players out there. And you know how this thing goes. The big free agents, they come off the board fast because everybody wants to either one, you want to keep doing what you were doing if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to go to Super Bowl again. I want Chris Jones. Or if you're one of these teams that's trying to get there, i.e. with Christian Wilkins, the Raiders, you're trying to make that splash, they go quick. But there's still a lot of good free agents.
A lot of good free agents.
Lot of
Man,
good
nice,
free-
awesome draft. All their
This
need.
is an exciting year again.
It is.
I
I love that we have 29 too. So
Yeah.
we can, I'd rather have 1 or 2, but we can speculate 28 picks in front. Who are the Lions going to get? Like,
11
who's going to fall?
11:30 at night. It's going to be interesting too. Is I think this complete season, free agency, as well as the draft, where you're picking 29, you have 4 picks inside the top 93. Well, now you have 3 left. I think he's going to find out who exactly Brad Holmes is. We give him so much credit about the draft, as we should. And you've seen what's happening with Jameer, Sam, Aiden, and the list goes on. Amon-Ra, St. Brown. But those were double-digit first-round years. Those were 9 picks or 8 picks. This is a more interesting year, and the offseason is going to be more interesting to consider where you got last year to the NFC Championship. So I'm excited to see kind of like the whole thing from now all the way till April 25th.
By the way, and maybe you're about to say this, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney has signed with Atlanta.
Yes, yeah.
He has signed with
There's
Atlanta.
just so much going on. Just so the chat knows,
Oh, yeah.
we have so much news going on. We can't keep track of
trying to
all
get
of
up-
it. But
trying to
yeah,
get you all the
3
news,
years,
man.
39.
All good, and I believe today's March 12th. Hey, it's Marvin Jones' birthday today.
It is.
Yeah,
birthday.
34, baby.
Look
How
at
about
that.
Happy
it?
birthday,
Damn, when did
Marvin.
Marvin Jones get 34? I remember when he was young.
He still
in
looks like
Cincinnati.
he's 18. Like he's one of those. He's a vampire. He's not aging.
Such a
stud,
good,
absolute stud.
I'm about to call him a kid.
Great
He's
guy,
a grown ass
too.
man. No, he's
Great
such a
guy.
good
Great,
dude, man.
one of the best.
And great singing voice.
Oh yeah,
Great
and a good
singing
dancer.
voice. Great.
He's posting pics of him and his kids dancing. He was one when I was first in the Lions locker room this last year. I don't want to say he took me under his wing, but he made sure I was
That's
comfortable. Met a few guys. Just an absolute class.
That's why he was there. He was there to really brother that locker room.
Yeah.
And it was tough to let him. He wasn't getting the playing time, and he didn't want to stick around for nothing.
And he had
wanted
some
to be with
family
his
stuff
family.
he was dealing with. He
Right.
just wanted to be with them.
Right. Either play me or I'm going to go home and see my family.
Yeah.
I think that's basically what happened.
All right, Pete, we're coming your way. We're going to take a quick break. You tell us what it is. And then also,
Do the
let's take a
50K
break from
first.
football, too. When we get back, something that we feared in college sports as it relates to having open gambling. Want to get into that
I love
story,
this.
Maz. I think that's a story for you.
I love
Also,
this.
let's get into the hometown because 2 teams won last night
Yeah.
for the Detroit Sports. Pete, tell us what we're rocking with. It's the 50K Sports Bracket Challenge presented by Soroki's and Glorious Look. $50,000 right now. If you're looking at the screen, scan the QR code. Get yourself involved. I guarantee if I pull my phone out, let's see this. Get into the camera right there. There's the camera. You point, click, just came up. That doesn't take very long at all, man. 50,000. I don't know about you, man, Broder. I would want to win 50,000.
I would love 50K right now, Braylon.
But the challenge isn't open to you.
No,
it's only open to those in
I'd
the
still
chat,
be broke,
those
though.
out there, and the fans chilling and watching. Look, enter 50K. You don't even have to watch the tournament. That's the great thing about it, because nobody's going to watch it anyway. Don't watch the tournament. But you fill out your bracket, you might get 50K. Woodward Sports Network, 50K bracket.
Broder and me are going to the tournament.
Oh, well, I am too.
And you.
100% we're
The
going
three of us.
down
Let's
there.
go. You taking me
go.
after you win 50K?
March 29th. We are going to the Midwest Regional.
With the three best
Oh,
buds
down in
that
Fort
any-
Phillips.
Yes.
Well,
Perfect.
perfect.
LCA.
LCA, March
Boom.
29th.
Boom.
Boom.
Don't stay
And
out.
what happens when you see this black and yellow sign out front of the
Oh,
house?
you
It
stay
tells the
out.
bad guys and Maz one
Stay out
thing.
yourself.
Stay out.
That's right, Maz. Stay out. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who are proven to care. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay
Pete's
And
mic
keep
should
Maz
stay
out.
out.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Here's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy.
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights. Live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching your favorite team play? Maz, I'll tell you, it's nothing. Nothing is better than crispy fried chicken and wings and pizza while you watch your best team play. You know where you got to get that from? Go to Soroki's. Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. Their food is amazing and their locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. A perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York-style pizza, fresh salad, sides, and more. They have it all. Even if you don't want to go heavy, you can get sides, you can get salad. This place is the place that you need to be at. Check out their full menu. Also, that's SAROKIS.com, SAROKIS.com. Soroki's and Woodward Sports. Now, that's how you party.
Party.
Crispy chicken.
Sounds
Man,
good.
we talked about this yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Me and Terry asked the question, and I didn't know there was any other answer for it. Fried chicken, do you have to
Crispy.
have hot sauce?
No. I don't use hot sauce.
All right, see, you don't count, man.
Hot sauce.
You have to have hot sauce, correct? On fried chicken.
Why?
Yeah, I'd say 90%. I mean, there
Okay.
are times if it's really good and it's really
Yeah.
crispy, I'm good. But I love a little Frank's on my fried chicken.
100%.
Yeah.
Mike was here yesterday, so he knows the answer. Look, black folks, man, hot sauce on fried chicken.
Like peanut butter and jelly. I heard you.
I'm telling you, they just go together.
I'm learning.
They go together.
Our morning show. They're trying to get me invited to the barbecue, so I'm learning.
No, first of all, you my boy. You always you coming to the barbecue. By extension.
Did you ask Mike?
I have to.
Ask him.
He's a black man.
Well, ask him.
Mike, let me ask you, man. Fried chicken. Does hot sauce and fried chicken go together all the time?
I mean, personally, myself, I really don't like hot sauce.
You said no?
Nah, not
There
really.
you go. That's my guy.
Oh, my
you don't
God.
need hot sauce.
But I
See,
do
look,
like buffalo
brothers
chicken.
stick together. So I'm not gonna say you cancel, but I'm just come on, man. Dang,
You don't
you made
need-
me look
It
bad.
changes the whole taste.
I mean, this is true. You don't necessarily need it, but I've been eating it so long, like I'm just grandfathered in.
I like to put hot sauce right in Pete's, right in his mouth right now.
Let's film that. Let's film
Pete
that.
Spy back.
Flats
Yeah,
or drummies, Bray?
What drummies?
Okay.
I'm a drum guy. Yeah, I'm a drum guy.
I'm a drummy all the way.
I'm a
all
drum
the
guy.
way.
have a handle.
Shoot, man, you know I get a good drumstick right now from KFC's across the street. Get Popeyes.
Let's go to
I used to
Soroki's.
hate
Let's
Soroki's.
go to Soroki's.
You said what?
Soroki's got the
I'm
drumsticks.
already going. I'm just looking across the street. Soroki's is where we go. You get that crispy chicken. This is why we're having this conversation. It's because of Soroki's, because they're also offering you that $50,000 for the 50K bracket challenge.
And they got
time.
New York style pizza.
They do, and they have salad.
And a
they
great
have
soda
sides.
fountain.
Oh, that's one of the underrated things. You gotta have.
I go there for the soda.
Why do pizza spots always have good fountain drinks?
I think they know. They got to put a little extra
You have
sugar
to.
in that the juice, whatever they create in the little
You
machine.
need more
This is
bubbles,
true.
man.
Yeah.
The more bubbles, the
The
better the
carbonation,
soda.
baby.
I'm
By the way,
more
shout out
bubbles.
Michael Wary in the chat, by the way. Says he's been waiting 63 years for the Lions to be a good team. Let Brad cook. And he was telling people
Yeah.
before in the chat, calm down a little bit. Like,
agree.
There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in there right
Yeah.
now.
And
Guys, it's early. It's just over 24 hours in.
I think the thing for me that has calmed me down, I said it earlier and I say it again for the people that might just be joining us now in the second hour and a half, is you saw what they were in 2021, you saw what they were in 2022, and you saw what they were last year, including winning the division, going 12-5. And if Frank Ragnow doesn't miss a game, they're not 12-5, they're 14-3 or 15-2. However you want to slice it. Frank Ragnow, when he's out, completely different team. They don't lose Frank Ragnow those 3 games. They win those 3 games. Maybe not the Ravens, but they would have won 2 of those games. That's now 14-3.
They're not winning
Gotta
that
let him
Ravens
cook.
game.
You gotta let him cook. Dan Campbell, he'll make some different decisions next time around.
Who knew when we were watching that Ravens game that
yeah.
those two teams would wind up losing in the championship round? Those two teams that played that day finished second to the Super Bowl teams. It's odd.
The crazy thing
It's
about
odd.
it is if you look at it this way, even deeper, who knew that the Ravens would get blown out in their AFC Championship game? Meanwhile, the Lions would give the Super Bowl appearance away. I look at it that way. Like
They crushed the Lions. That was the ugliest game of the year. It
was terrible.
They were coming off 3 weeks in a row in
38-6.
London too.
Yeah.
Like that was a
winnable game supposedly.
and it was embarrassing.
But I think that's when you really look at Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens' record against NFC teams. He's now 17-1 against NFC. Like, that's a real thing. That's not on accident. Like, there's just a difference to when you play that guy and that team for the first time.
Guess what I just thought of? That was Pete's first week when we
No
got
way.
blown out by the Ravens. Pete, weren't you there at the restaurant with me that day?
Hamlin
So you
Pub.
blaming Pete?
The Hamlin Pub.
Freddie Feld was there too, right?
There you go. Freddie was there. Freddie was there for the second one, I think.
Oh, okay.
For the second one. But Pete is the actual jinx. There it is. I just
Good.
put it all together.
Pete was in this room
Good, I
during
hope.
the Michigan Football National Championship game. Pete, I got your back.
Thank you, bro.
I got your
I'm
back.
here for wins.
I got your
I'm
back.
not here for losses, unlike Matt.
All right.
Brandon, sorry, go ahead.
No,
go ahead. Finish
Can I
up.
ask you a serious question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Did anyone ever offer you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 when you were in college?
Nah.
Not to throw a game or anything. The mobsters weren't after you?
So look, the program was my second favorite movie ever when I grew up. So I've seen that movie a million times. I've seen the conversation with Alvin Mack to Darnell Jefferson. I saw the little envelope slide at the booster party. I swear to God, I was always waiting for that moment to happen. Like Charles didn't tell me anything. Larry Foote didn't tell me anything. But I just knew that this was a part. It just seemed like it. Like, this is my favorite movie. It couldn't be lied to me. Never did it happen.
Not once.
I was like, all right, maybe I got to do something first. So after my sophomore year, 1,000 yards.
Maybe it's coming then.
No envelope. After my junior year, first team All Big Ten, third team All American, no envelope.
Zero?
Senior year, broke all the records.
Blitnikoff?
Didn't see an envelope.
You won the Blitnikoff, right?
I did win the
Yeah.
Blitnikoff. So in my estimation, it never happened. But it does seem to happen at other schools, Tom, as the way it tells
Sure
us about
does.
that.
Listen to this, guys. I found this the other day on Twitter, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Twitter.
Okay, yeah, sure. Who is this Mo Hassan? Mo Hassan, former quarterback at Vanderbilt, said he was approached by the mob. And not only that, guys, give a listen to how many other teams are involved in this. This is a great listen. He was on a podcast. Check it out.
I was approached at Jason Aldean's bar in Nashville by the Italian mob.
What?
To fix football games.
I'll be honest, this sounds like a story
like
that
the mafia?
I do not need to be a part of.
I want to get drinks. And so I'm alone right now. I'm not with my friend group. He comes up to me.
Wait, he knew who you were?
Yes.
This is already a bad start.
He offered me $300,000.
He offered you $300,000?
Right.
He said, for something like this, my clients, $250 to $300K for a game.
The Italian mob offered you $300K to do
Can
what?
we stop saying that?
He said, we regularly talk to guys in your position about fixing games. He said he named guys in the SEC who I don't want to say their names because they're in the NFL right now, and that's a bad look.
deal?
It's a bad deal. But University of Alabama, I will tell you that.
Holy crap.
He said almost every game in the SEC is rigged.
Too much for me.
Mic drop.
Wow.
My dad's been telling me this since I was a little kid. Talking back in 1970. My dad was like, this is a Broadway show, kid. I'm like, no way, Dad. No way. So I always grew up a little jaded, but you had to know this was going on. You had to. This is not old. This is recent.
Yeah, I would say this. You got to start here. Whenever you bring up the SEC, I believe everything about the SEC that's negative.
Yeah.
I believe everything because I've told you the story a million times, man. As I have friends play in the SEC, they tell me stories. Now you're taking it a step further and saying the mob is involved. The only thing I would throw caution to the wind at is I had a quick second to look up Mo Hassan's stats, Mo Hassan's numbers. Who's approaching Mo Hassan, who in 5 games at Vanderbilt in 2018 completed 4 passes, which means he definitely didn't start or play second string. And then in 2019, in 2 games, he completed 7 passes.
Only takes one play, one set of downs.
Like if you, I feel you, but
good point. He just wasn't on the field that much. See, I haven't dug into this. I heard about it. I didn't hear these numbers. That's insane. 250 to 300K. I didn't know he didn't play that much. And I also wondered, Vanderbilt's a pretty prestigious university. There's a lot of money.
Right, but
in
they're a
Vanderbilt.
bad football team.
Yeah. Jay Cutler went there back in the day.
It's funny too.
Weird.
When I was actually getting recruited, Michigan was obviously the biggest, Michigan State, but then it was Vanderbilt and Cal. And you know what Vanderbilt was selling me on? They were selling me on, hey, next year we got this quarterback coming in. This quarterback is going to be elite. You're going to want to play with this quarterback. Pause. I'm like, first of all, I mean, you guys are an academic school, which I love. I said, I'm not trying to wait a year and blah, blah, blah. It was Jay Cutler.
Wow.
I mean, hey, he had a
cannon. So you're trying to make this Mo guy the next Paul Crew, offer him some money to throw the game?
Paul Crew.
Game
Shout
ball.
out to the longest yard.
That's an interesting story. I don't know. I didn't get offered that much money when I was at Michigan to literally throw a game. But this guy, I bet money is changing hands more than even we hear about. And then I guess legal changing hands. This is a little aggressive.
So that's it, Ray? He only played a couple of years and threw a few passes?
Yeah, like 100%.
Wow.
I'm looking at his stats right now. But
Yeah,
look,
so he couldn't have done that much damage.
yeah, when you talk about the SEC, that's just probably true. Referees, coaches, everybody's involved. Blah blah blah. But when you look at his stats, I'm like, who's approaching you?
Paul Feinbaum. He's the only idiot to approach someone like
Paul
that.
hey, look, I will say this. Paul Feinbaum is a guy that I didn't necessarily ever really truly care for, but he didn't bother me until he started hating on Michigan. Yeah. I do have respect for Paul now because you see, he's one of the ones that got ahead of the curve. After Michigan won the Big Ten championship, after they beat Alabama, he came out immediately and said, look, I've never been more wrong in my life. For him to come out and say, as an analyst, as a radio show host, as a personality on ESPN and other places, I've never been more wrong in my life, I said, Paul's smart. Paul Smart, he ain't want no problem with that machine that is Michigan, so I give him some credit.
I agree with you. That was smart, but I still remember.
I don't like him.
A couple months earlier, when he's like, "I will never ever acknowledge this Michigan team for winning anything this year."
Right.
And then he did.
And they should lose their wins that they had. They should vacate them.
Yeah,
I hated him
He
before
should live
that.
at the beach. He's flip flopping so much.
I hated him before that, though. What are we talking about? In '97, did you see the Heisman piece that they did last year on the 97 team?
The first person.
Yeah.
The first voice you hear is him hating on Charles Woodson.
Right. He was a Peyton Manning guy.
First guy you hear is him hating on Charles Woodson. I was like, oh, this guy been a Michigan hater for 25 years.
If you're hating on Charles Woodson, that's when you know you got a vendetta. There's nothing to hate about that man.
Nah, like it's nothing.
Zero. And that whole show or documentary, it was all it was 80%.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, 20% Charles Woodson.
Right.
Guess who won the Heisman?
Charles.
They both are Hall of Famers, though.
You know, so actually everybody that was up for one was Randy Moss was there.
All Hall of Famers.
I love Randy Moss, what he did for Charles Woodson. People don't realize that because Charles told me that one time. He said, hey, what's up, baby? He talking about that Heisman. He said, I ain't even hear my name called. He said he was so checked out in the sense that just everyone knew it was getting the Heisman. Like this was
You thought it was Peyton?
It was Peyton. So when they say Charles' name, you see Randy. Randy hits Charles will wake him up. He's like, that was you. Go up there.
Wow.
Charles wasn't even paying attention. He
I
was
gotta
like,
watch that again now.
Like you'll see Randy give him a nudge. He talks about it. I might watch that again too. It was well done. I like the Heisman journey. Like it showed you from like week 1, week 2, week 3.
It was well
who
done.
was coming in, who faded out.
Yeah.
And then you just see Charles Woodson like every week do something that was like, I ain't never seen that before. Lloyd asked him in week 5, you want to play some running back? He said, nah, but I'll play wide out. What happened? I mean, you look at the Penn State game. Touchdown against Penn State, who was undefeated at the time. You see him in the Ohio State game, big play catch. Yeah, he was – Charles is that dude.
That one-handed catch on the sideline, that's what
Michigan
I'll never
State.
forget.
Michigan State. No one knew he was in bounds.
You had a couple good games against Michigan State.
Hey, I know Quentin Johnson is no Charles Woodson.
Definitely
But
not.
Quentin Johnson has decided to forego putting his name in the NFL draft. He is coming back to win a championship here, as he says, at the University of Michigan. Coming back for his 5th year.
Will Johnson?
Quentin Johnson.
No, Quentin Johnson. Will Johnson's year 3. He has to come back. Quentin Johnson's year 5.
P, we got the thing?
I thought you were talking Quentin Johnston.
No, that's wide receiver.
Yeah,
He's
on
talking
the Chargers.
Yeah. Now he torched
Somewhere.
Michigan.
He did.
He torched Michigan. I like this for Quentin Johnson. I mean, we'll wait while you figure it out, P. I like this for Quentin Johnson. You look at a team that's bringing back now 8 of those starters. They still bring back 8 starters, 8 catalysts for this Michigan team that is national championship, including Donovan Edwards. I think here it is right here.
I didn't mean to wake you, Pete. I'm sorry.
News.
You keep breaking news. Go
Oh,
ahead.
for the love of God.
Keep breaking news.
Don't
Don't pay attention to the show.
Are you breaking
Break your own
news or
news.
breaking balls?
Go ahead. Break your news.
I'm back.
That's all you need to know. Quentin Johnson is back, and this is good to have a player back. Look, man, that secondary was really good last year.
Can't wait to hear this
Led
news.
by Will Allen. Now you got Quentin Johnson come back. Come on, Pete. Tell me who's coming back. Who's
All
signing the
right,
contract? Darren
the
Sproles?
Colts are re-signing cornerback Kenny Moore to a 3-year, $30 million
Who
deal.
gives a damn?
3-year, 30
Who? Who are they signing?
Kenny Moore, the second.
Kenny Moore.
3 for 30?
3 for 30.
Oh, that's breaking.
That's good money.
We got to hear that. We definitely got to hear that, Pete.
I got breaking
You
news.
see what I have to deal with here, folks? You get it? God.
I got
I
got
definitely
breaking
have to
news.
pay attention to the show to break that news.
I think I got real breaking news.
Tell me, Bray.
Last night, the Detroit Pistons beat
Jesus.
the Charlotte Hornets 114-97 to get their 11th win of the season. And then the Tigers also won yesterday. They're now 10-7.
They're playing right now.
Reese Olson pitched well.
So shout out to the Pistons. It looked like they're finding a little bit. At
It's 6 guys scoring double digits. It was actually a really good game. I watched it. Kool-Aid was down there getting videos. I had it on in the background. They played decent.
That's good for background.
Hornets kind of
It's good for background.
2 things have happened, I think.
Do they always
with
play the
Pistons.
Hornets too? The Nets,
The Hornets
Hornets
and the Nets, man.
They have 3 wins against the Hornets
Yeah.
this
And
year.
the Cavs. They play the Cavs a lot. I think
thanks a lot.
2 things have happened. One, Jalen Duren being healthy. Jalen Duren being healthy has been really good for the Detroit Pistons. And also, obviously, the dumbest thing ever is Killian Hayes is no longer here. Jaden Ivey starts in that rotation. He's had 2 or 3 30-point games in the last 5. So, pretty easy peasy. What else you got? Man.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Let you go. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to get to break here in 1 sec, but while we got everyone's attention.
We're done for the show.
Oh, we might be done for. I think it sounds like we need one more. But shoot the camera over me real quick. Oh, here we go.
Shoot it.
Neil Rule, the man, the myth, the legend, Neil Rule. He's on the call tonight. It's Oakland University. We didn't talk about this earlier, right?
We did not.
We did not. Okay. They play in the Horizon League Championship against number 6 Milwaukee. The game is going to be on ESPN at 7 o'clock.
There's high stakes, correct?
You know what happens to the winner?
No.
They go dancing. Woo. They go to March Madness to get into the round of 64 with an automatic bid. Neil's on the call. I believe it's just radio or maybe the local Oakland station.
Okay.
But the game's on ESPN. This is a big one. This is Rocket Watts, Trey Townsend,
Go Grizz.
Blake Lampman. Go Grizz, baby. Maybe the best basketball team in Michigan.
See, you can't be out here, man.
They
Shout out
are.
to our own Neil.
They are.
They're definitely better than that team in Ann Arbor. And look, Michigan State, they ain't too far behind.
You think MSU's making a dance?
I think
or they got to win 2 games in the Big Ten
They'll
tournament?
make it because they're 19-12, but you know why they'll make it? Because this is his last year.
Well, it's not his last year.
Yeah, it is.
But he's been in it 26 years straight.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why they'll put him in, because they don't have any legends in. Like, you look at the landscape in the field of 64, who's the legend that's coaching? They don't have any. You need those legends. I think they put him in as a favor. And, I think he's out after this year.
Basketball.
Like, it's
I don't know. I think they'd have a year that they celebrate him like they did with Coach K. I don't think he's just going to disappear.
Yeah, Coach K almost won a national championship, though, in that last year. You're talking about a team they don't look much better than Michigan.
Well, they lost a 1-point game to Indiana the other day. They made a poor shot at the end of that game. They've made a lot of those. It's not their best team. He don't have the best players to work with. They can't shoot.
But Maz, it doesn't go back to. I'm not talking about the what he's doing with less. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it's also about Nick Saban left, Jim Harbaugh left. You're looking at Mike Krzyzewski left, Roy Williams left. All these great coaches, older coaches, are leaving because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal. He even got in a little stuff about 4 years ago or 3 years ago with bumping into the player or yelling at the player. So I just think that part is a headache for our guy. You know I'm a Tom Izzo fan, so I think that is enough. Look, Pete, I know I got one more, so let's get out the way now. You tell me where we got to be.
I got you. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone. Whether you want to go buys for the guys or curls for the girls, there will be no judgment there. You can feel comfortable about working on your fitness goals at Planet Fitness. They have a squeaky clean gym. They got hydro massage beds. They got tanning booths. They literally have it all for $10 a month. It could be yours at Planet Fitness. Your fitness is essential.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Best, hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery, and they've got nutritionists on site. You want to call them and ask about what you should do with your pet, what best food, they will answer your call. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
You know, You know what's so funny is every time I see that Kevin Durant, I'm sorry, I know how I got the Kevin Durant, but little basketball highlight was on there.
Let it fly.
I think it was when Embiid and Luka had that crazy week where they scored 70, 73. He's like, 70? I sent that to my barber, like when he charges $7 for a haircut. I'm like, $70? Like, are you serious with that?
70? Remember the Pistons used to hold teams under 70 points?
Oh, 100%.
Teams.
You know the funniest thing that I don't think people pay attention to? Go back and look at the score when Tayshaun Prince blocks Reggie Miller.
Was it in the 50s?
It's
low 60s?
It's 67 to 66.
Iconic, though.
It's 67 to 66 with like 20 seconds left in the game.
It was, I remember this.
That's a college score.
It really is. They were playing the Mavs the other night. It was 69 to 65 at halftime.
At the end of the first quarter nowadays.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't mind it, though.
Oh, I got you. I don't remember, but I got you. There's been a lot of tweets going out these days. This is free agent season.
I still call it, like, Matt still calls it Twitter. Like, I don't say X.
No one says X.
Like, you know who says X is Ryan. And
he tries to force it.
And
he likes to be so, like, meticulous.
Every time he says it, like, it catches me off guard. He was like, I said this on X last night. I was like, you on X last night?
Why would you name it that? Like, I just think of bad things when I think of X.
I like the bird. Where's the bird? Bring the bird back.
Right. Twitter was the most clever
X-Man, I guess.
tweet.
That was great.
Twat.
You know what? The guy's a multi-billionaire. I guess he knows what he's doing.
He does certain things.
I think we got a phone call.
We do.
Come on.
Oh, patch him through.
I think Kenny's on the phone. Kenny, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Maz?
Good, man. What's shaking?
Hey, thanks. Well, I got out to the Tigers game yesterday over at Cacti Park. It was really good. Olsen had a really great start to the game.
I know. Matt Broder's a big Reese Olsen guy, and to go to spring training, man, is one of the best things that you can do for your body and for your mind.
Shot.
It is just like a vitamin D shot. Right there, boom. You're there. It's great. I'm looking forward to the season. They're over 500, but there's a team that plays in the American League that hasn't lost much this year, and it's the Baltimore Orioles, and they are going to be trouble this year for everybody.
Oh, that was my friend that came along with me to watch the game yesterday. He's an O fan, but there was a whole group of us there from that were rooting on the Tigers. So it was great.
That's awesome.
And
how many
with
wins
the
you got them
exception
for,
of,
Kenny? How many wins you got them for this year?
I'd say, oh my gosh, at least 75.
Ooh, okay, that's it. Oh, I don't like that.
I want an 8 in front of that.
Yeah, I need
with
an 8.
75.
I need 82 at least.
85.
I need 82 minimum.
I'd like to see them go. I'd like to see them go up to about 92. That would be really
I
awesome.
think they're going to win the division this year. I keep saying it, man. I believe they're going to win it. I saw a lot of strides taken last year. I like this offseason. I like what I'm seeing so far in spring training. I like Colton Keith. I like Scooble. Scooble is turning into something special on that mound. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him to win the division. That's
Riley Green's hitting the ball this year in the spring. He says, I just got to get the ball up in the air. He's got that power.
Yeah.
Use it. And you had the elbow surgery now, man. So I don't know what that's going to do to him.
Hey guys.
Yeah, Ken.
It was a really close game for like the first 7 innings or so. Then in the 8th inning, they put a 4 spot up there, and that was it.
How was it? You were at the game yesterday. How was it watching Reese Olsen? He had 4 innings pitched, right? No earned runs, a couple strikeouts.
He kept the Astros off the board for a couple innings, and then it was 1-1, and then it was 2-1 up to the 8th inning, and then our guys put a 4 spot up there on the top of the 8th. It was great.
That's awesome, Ken. I feel the energy. I feel it through your voice. Just baseball season starting. The sun's out here in Michigan. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Thanks for the call, Ken.
Appreciate you, Ken.
We appreciate that call.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Let me say something, man. And the excitement for Ken talking about the Tigers, and we appreciate that call. How much of that excitement is being generated, and we talked about it yesterday, because of the Detroit Lions?
A lot.
You look at what they're doing in terms of the owner, the GM and the coach are now locked up, so you have competent front office, you have a competent owner, competent head coach. I think you see that with the Red Wings. Obviously, Dylan Larkin's hurt. That's why they're on a 5-game skid. But you have a competent owner. You have a competent GM and Steve Yzerman. And you have a competent coach in Derek Lalonde. And then in baseball for the Tigers, same owner as the Red Wings, but then also you add Scott Harris, who's a guy won with the Cubs and also helped transform the Giants as well. I think it's the competency which why people are excited, but it stems from the Lions.
And not just competency, the philosophies align, or there's trust from the owner to the front office. That's not. It hasn't been like that in years past. Scott Harris and Jeff Greenberg, they got this entire organization flipped around. And I know everyone wants Chris Ilitch to spend money to go on and get. I'm not sure what your opinion is.
I want JD Martinez.
You want JD? See, he would be a perfect fit here.
He's a great bat off the bench. Now he's going to take bats away from younger guys. That's why they say. I don't care. I want him because he was here when they were winning, and I want him to say and tell these young guys what that place was like in those years from 2006 to 2015. That's what I want JD Martinez here for.
That is a fantastic reason why I can't even argue. I'm not even going to say they want to platoon guys in the DH role. The fact that that's how you think, I can't argue with that.
We're up against the real
Wings at Sabres tonight.
Wings and Sabres tonight. We're
5-game
up against
losing
it.
streak.
Matt Broder, tell people what they need to be tuning into in the mornings daily.
You got to turn into Wake Up Woodward.
Yes, sir.
Out here with Kool-Aid, Brandon Dent, Detroit Kool-Aid, Sam Flannel. We got JB in the booth, in the TD booth, and KG in the sound booth. We're having a lot of fun. Come hang out 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning on Woodward Sports
proud
Network.
of you guys.
Hell of a show, man. Proud of you guys as well. And their graphics are elite. We're going to have to steal their graphics designer guy because, man, they do some good stuff.
They stole our guy. They got JB.
And oh, you know what?
This
Dynamite
is
drop in,
Kool-Aid.
man. Glad
I
you're
know.
back, Tom Mazaway.
I know.
Glad you are back.
JB's
And look,
a steal.
we are glad that you guys come in and support Woodward Sports Network. I'm letting them two guys talk. I'm talking to you, the fan that comes to support us every day. We were over 750 today. That's because you guys like free agency, and it's heating up. Don't worry. Don't worry. Trust Brad Holmes. Trust the Lions, and trust what you see. Remember, 3-13, 9-8. 12-5. And Frank Fragnow missed 3 of those games. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in to Mighty Nails with Maz. My man, Matt Broder. We appreciate you. Tom Mazaway, good to have you
Thanks,
back.
fellas.
Good stuff, Mike. Good stuff, Pete. Pete, keep breaking those breaking news, man. Sun is out.
Thanks, Pete.
So I'm going to golf. See you.